Haha, welcome to episode of the ZUDECAST number 81.
81.
Thank you. We're now broadcasting in Spanish. We're broadcasting on Univision and Telemundo. Stay tuned next week. We got the talking bee guy from The Simpsons.
Oh yeah, it's just me. It's just me again in another costume.
yeah.
Again.
What's up, y'all?
And Apu.
Yeah.
Apu will be there.
Apu's gonna be there, bro. Fuck yeah, bro. We have our own Apu character who's a little more spicy.
Yeah, we'll get.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that's a Patreon only, maybe. But welcome to the ZUDECAST, y'all. It's your boy Crispy Grooves. We got in the building with us.
Oh, it's your boy Adrian Grody. Ho.
It's funny. Everybody thinks your name's really Adrian.
I know. It's so funny, honestly, dude. That shit has me dead, and I'm like, no, it's a rap name.
Oh yeah. And then we got.
What's up? It's Robert Ware. Always been here, always will be.
Hell yeah.
And to the left of me, we got our guest.
I got to introduce myself.
Yeah, sorry.
Sam Phelps in the building.
Hey.
Sam Gawd,
Yeah.
as
Yes.
is colloquially known.
Sam Gawd Phelps. Yes.
There you go.
Thanks for having me.
Now, Sam, where did you get the name Sam Gawd?
Oh,
I'm gonna do a Nardwar.
man. I know we had to get into that. I think I might have to take these headphones off. It's kind of
dude.
like boomy. And
Yeah. Okay. We could turn you down too if you need.
Try it off for a minute.
Okay. Yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
I can hear you
Raw
guys.
dog it, dude. You got it.
I'll just be obnoxiously loud because I can't hear myself and adjust. Yeah. Oh, the Sam God name was actually Bassy anointed me.
Oh, nice.
Bassy vibe.
Shout out.
Oh.
You
Okay.
know? Yeah. Shout out Bassy vibe. Yeah, we were at like a rehearsal, and I think we were arguing about like whether or not to take a gig or something with George Knapp. This is a band we had, and it was early on in the band, and we were arguing, and then I think I was like, we should do the gig because blah blah blah, this and that, and Bassy just said, I do what Sam God tells me. And that was the first time anyone had said that. I don't know why he said that, but it stuck after that. Like
That's
people just
perfect.
started like saying it. I don't go around telling people to call me that.
Right, yeah. I know. I was like, should we put the actual just your name? Or put
Oh
Sam
yeah,
God in
just
That's
lean
funny,
into
though.
it.
Yeah,
man. Just lean. But
That's
I don't.
great.
It's like I don't like to call myself that. But
Yeah.
if other people,
Hey.
it's like when people give you a name,
Right.
and then they start saying it. It's cool at shows or something. People will just be like Sam God and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But that's as far as it goes. It's not like people are just in everyday conversation, just like, hey, is Sam God
Sam
going to be
God.
there? Yeah, what's Sam God
Yeah,
doing?
yeah,
Yeah, I'm going shopping with Sam God. Like, it's not that important
right.
to my identity, I guess.
It's very
Yeah.
formal.
Yeah.
Excellent, dude.
It's just a fun little thing to yell out every once in a while.
Dude,
But
glad
thank
to
you,
have
Bassy.
you, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Shout out Bassy Vibe, dude.
Yeah.
I wasn't
Phenomenal.
sure for the longest time. I was like, is it Bossy Vibe or Bassy Vibe?
Oh, me too. Me
like-
too. For
I
like
don't-
years,
yeah.
when I knew him and was in
Yeah.
a band with him, I still
Yeah.
was like, wait a minute, dude. I've been calling you Bassy. Is that right? Because I hear people saying Bossy, Bassy,
Right.
Bass-I, like
Right.
every
Yeah.
possible combination
That's true.
of those vowels. I'm still not quite sure, but we'll say Bassy.
All interpretations are valid, I think.
Yeah,
But
he
there's
never corrected anyone. That
Right.
was the thing.
I mean, yeah, dude. Long A, short A, dude. Whatever. But yeah, dude. Thank you so much for joining us, dude. Local music legend, Sam God.
Legend and a god. Damn.
Yeah, dude.
I'll take it.
Well, I guess that's more Darius is legendarius.
Right. We got the legend in the band. So we got Bassy Vibe. We got a vibe. We got the god. We got the legendarius. And then the fourth member was Courtney Fuego.
Yeah.
We got the fire.
Nice.
It's on some Fifth Element shit
The
going
Four
on over
Nations.
there.
There you go.
Those are all the elements of the universe.
Yeah.
It's science. It's actually science. Look it up.
Yeah, the Vibe Nation was that piece.
What was that?
The Vibe Nation, and then the God tribe, and then the Fuego until the Fuego Nation attacked.
Yeah,
right?
these were the original tribes of Mesoamerica, actually,
yep,
that
yep.
all led up to the formulation of the band George Knapp.
Dude, George
Sick.
Knapp.
Yeah.
I mean, you're in a
True
bunch
story.
of bands, dude. You're like you're all over the place, dude.
Yeah, yeah. It's like sometimes when people ask me like, "What band are you in?" I'm like, I don't even know. I just play music in Sacramento.
Right?
You know how it is.
A true journeyman.
Yes, yes. A broke ass freelance musician, pretty much.
Dude, that's
my
I mean, that's like a whole tribe with I mean, I'm sure every city's got their own version of that, of just the people that just get called left and right for just different gigs. It's like you're a mercenary. It's like
Right,
being a hitman.
right. And it's cool. I mean, it's cool when you get called to like sub for people and you get to just like be a part of that thing for a second, and you might not want to like be a full-time member and like do the, have to go to all the band meetings and like get involved in all that stuff. But
Right.
you just get to like go on one little tour with them or do one little couple of shows and then
Right.
and get a taste of it and then be on your merry way to the
Right.
next adventure.
On to the next. I know. What would you say are your most active projects right now? Because you work with like the Philharmonic.
Yeah, right now it's pretty much the Philharmonic. We haven't been doing that much, but that's something that's always like there's always something building, It's always something on the horizon. And then Jelly Bread is a band actually out of Reno, not Bread Jelly, as I said earlier on the promo.
Some typos. Don't mind us.
technical errors.
Yeah.
It's obviously Jelly Bread.
Yeah.
God. But yeah, I actually play keys with them, and that's like a funk band out of Reno.
Okay.
With a phenomenal drummer, Cliff Porter. I don't know if you've ever seen him, but he's next level. Like he sings too. Like he can sang while he's
Dude,
just tearing up them drums.
I think I met him. I think I met him at a Gold Souls gig in Reno one time. Perhaps.
that would seem
I think
valid.
he came down when we were playing.
Yeah.
I think at the Cypress or like one of those.
I could see
spots.
Yeah, he gets around. He was probably
Yeah.
coming to say what's up.
Yeah.
He's in circulation out there. Like everyone in Reno knows him. It's ridiculous. Like we did this gig like in the Reno airport, which is basically like barely even an airport. It's just like it's like one terminal. There's just like a little walkway, and then you're on the plane. Basically, there's like a McDonald's and then planes. Like that's it. But we were out there. Like we played out there from like 9 a.m. till like 3 p.m. or something.
The
It was
6-hour airport gig, dude.
Literally, it was like 6 hours with like lots of breaks, but it was
Yeah.
like they're like, no, we want you out here all day because they're having a mayor's conference in Reno, and so all these mayors were coming from all over the country, and they were basically like they wanted when they got off the plane to basically have some funky ass music playing in the terminal.
Yes.
Put a little pep in their
they'd be
step.
like, so they'd be like, Reno's so cool, man.
Wow, the culture.
Yeah.
I thought it was just some hick ass Vegas, but apparently Reno's killing. Anyway, the whole point of that was to say that while we were there, like every single person that was getting on a plane seemed to know Cliff Porter, our drummer. It was just like,
nice.
hey, Cliff, what are you doing here? What's going on? It was like, damn, you know literally everyone in Reno, man. This is crazy. But I see why, because super likable dude, tears up them drums,
I always felt like being able to sing well while drumming is like one of the most uncanny skills, like of all time as a musician.
Yeah.
For real, pretty dope.
It's
nuts.
And it's like soul singing, it's like R&B, like runs and stuff, like, and his drumming is like, he's not just an average drummer. Like he's got chops. He's got like gospel chops, so it's like, he's just tearing up fills and then while he's doing a run, and it's, it always makes me think of Mint Condition, It's like, that was the one band where like the drummer was the front man. And they're an R&B group. It's just like, this doesn't make any sense.
Right.
They're so killing. They're like one of the best groups ever.
I know that's rare to find a good drummer singer group. I mean, I guess like Buddy Miles back in the day, or like or like I don't know. I mean, like
who else is there? I mean, because they never get marketed. Like no label wanted to promote any band like that because they're like, you're a front man. You're supposed to be up front, like not behind a drum set. It just doesn't translate for what
there's a
people
lot
are
of
used
like
to.
a lot of like backup singers, that'll play drums.
Oh, totally,
backups.
totally.
But
Yeah.
like, yeah, let's see, who's got the lead singers and plays
I
drums?
feel like King
The
Khan
only
and
one I could
Oh.
really think of really is like Anderson .Paak. You know.
yeah, Anderson .Paak.
Oh yeah,
Oh
of
yeah,
course.
yeah.
But he comes out from behind the drums
Right,
too,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So it's like, yeah, he's
Right.
got that thing where he's like, I'm gonna be back here for a minute. And Stevie Wonder would play drums too sometimes.
Phil Collins.
Oh,
Phil
Phil
Collins.
Collins.
True.
Yeah.
Well, and
But he'd also be like riding a bike around
Yeah.
sometimes or something.
And Justin Bieber. Can't forget Justin Bieber.
oh, dude,
But he didn't play while he was like singing, right?
I think that's like how he started on YouTube initially, like before he like actually got famous. But
Oh,
but
okay.
yeah.
Oh,
I
dude.
did
Then-
hear
then
that.
he
I
stopped
did hear
doing
he
the
could
drumming,
actually
yeah.
drum.
You know who else? Fucking Karen Carpenter from the Carpenters. She was actually a fucking killer drummer. Like oddly enough, like she kind of fucking ripped. It's pretty weird. Like
Oh,
just,
Sheila E. too.
yeah,
That's
Sheila.
hella
E,
fun.
I know, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Right.
And she plays lots of percussion too.
Yeah. Or she was like playing percussion with Prince, right? Or wait, no.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Yeah, drummer singers, dude. That's tough.
I feel like King Khan and Barbecue. Too.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
dude.
The drummer's
Yeah.
the singer. I'm pretty
That's-
sure because he
that's-
just has like a hi hat and a snare. He doesn't even have like a full drum set. You know.
Yeah,
so, I don't know. It's just like
That's not
yeah.
too bad.
Yeah, that's not. I feel like
you're
yeah,
just a
no, they're
timekeeper.
just like a punk band too. So
Right.
yeah.
I was gonna say, what's it, dude? The guy from Mastodon.
Oh shit! Does he
Fucking-
do vocals too?
Well,
or-
they like
He's
the
filthy.
like both the guitar players and the drummer, like they take turns like singing on shit.
Right.
But I'm like, dude is like, because I remember we saw Mastodon
Yeah,
a few years ago
yeah,
at
that
Aces
was fucking
Fades,
dope. That
and
was
it
a
was
long time
nuts
ago now.
because there's a bunch of songs where the drummer Brand Daler, he's like singing the whole time and he's like chopping it the fuck up, like insane like metal drums and singing. That's just
Yeah,
wild,
the
dude.
coordination for that.
It's nuts,
Your entire body is working, you know,
Right.
like all four limbs and your voice.
right?
That's a lot.
I feel like maybe if you're in the flow state as a drummer, it might be easier to like pick up singing and drumming if you're already a drummer versus like if you're a guitar player and you're just first learning a rhythm and like, you know, how to carry a rhythm and keep
Yeah.
it like straight and, you know,
Right,
stay on
right.
time and all that. So I don't know.
That's
maybe.
true. A lot of guitar players when they're singing, it's more of like they're just accompanying themselves. Like it's
Right.
hard to play a straight up riff while singing at the same time. Usually it's more of just like a steady like rhythm part. Dude, trying to just doing like guitar and singing for me is like the hardest thing. I'm like I can do both of those things separately, totally
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, dude, it's a mess.
I feel like bass and singing is pretty hard, you know,
Yeah.
because it's like the things you're doing on bass are usually counterpoint to what the
Yeah.
vocal's doing.
No,
You know,
exactly.
so you got to be really doing two things at once. Like you got to still land on the one and keep the pocket going while your
Yeah.
voice is over here doing something completely different.
yeah.
Right.
Right.
Well, I mean, I've never been able to do it. So.
Yeah, no, it's tough, man. That's tough.
That's all I
Yeah,
gotta
one
say.
time Cliff, I hope Cliff watches this because I'm singing his praises. Shout out Cliff
Shout out.
Porter, the God. He did one gig. He forgot the mic stands because it was like a small gig and he was bringing his PA, and so he did the entire gig. He would hold the mic and just drum with one hand while he was singing.
What the hell, dude?
And then when we would get to like a part where it was an instrumental section, if people were soloing or whatever, he would just throw the mic so it was like draped over his neck.
Oh my God.
So then he would grab his other stick and then he'd start throwing down. And then when the vocal would come back in, he'd be like, "Oh, grab the mic, put his
Oh
stick
my
down,"
God.
you know.
That's crazy.
There's a clip of it on my Instagram. It's badass.
You gotta get like
gotta see it.
you have to have like the headset, like the Britney Spears headset, so you
Oh,
can
yeah.
play
Yeah.
drums and dance at the same
Right.
time.
Yeah.
Look like a radio guy, like a
Right.
sports commentator.
Yeah, those headsets always look kind of funny, you know, with
Yeah.
that, like, that ball.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
black ball sitting
yeah.
right there. It's like, what is this?
Yeah.
Like America's Got Talent or something?
I know. This
Right.
is, this is America's Got Talent or Xbox Live right now. What the hell is going on,
You a
dude?
gamer? What
Yeah.
are you doing?
It's gamer time.
That's almost as good as like the Billy Joel Darth Vader harmonica thing, you know, he's got going on. Where he's like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
That's got to be nuts too, playing harmonica and piano at the same time.
Yeah, doing any of those things, I feel like.
Yeah.
Just doing two things at once is
Yeah.
hard, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Really.
So which of your bands have you been in the longest?
That's a tricky one because some bands never quite went away.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They never broke up, so to speak.
They're just dormant.
So yeah, exactly. It's just like it's laying dormant in hibernation until every 12 years at a
Right.
certain time the cicadas come out or whatever. You know? Like there's this group, the Four Guys from Reno, that I would actually say might fit that bill because it got together when I was in high school. And it's the first band that got me like serious into like wanting to be a good musician, you know? Like before that, I was just like, I just want to copy Rage Against the Machine or something like. Not that they aren't great musicians. They're still one of my favorite bands, but I was just like, let's play some metal, drop D, real simple shit, you know? But then I started getting into jazz, and that's when that was through the Four Guys from Reno, because we started the group in high school as we were in jazz band, and there was this total music nerd named Javier Ramirez that was this really good sax player. I mean, he was very studious about music, even at a young age. He was like transcribing John Coltrane solos and stuff, and just way beyond anything that I even knew existed, basically. And he was like, we got to get a combo together. I want to get a combo, because we were in jazz band at McClatchy High School.
Oh, yeah.
And our jazz band was complete trash, like just horrible. Our instructor didn't even know anything about jazz. Like he didn't understand jazz, anything about improvisation, really. He was just a standard band teacher, I guess. Kind of a boring guy, you know?
Yeah.
And I had never really played jazz, and I had barely played bass. I had just started playing bass in jazz band because there were no bass players, really. I was trying to play guitar. That's what I started on. So I was like, let me pick up this bass. And then this guy's like, you got to play bass in my jazz combo. And he was like giving me like giant steps, like these ridiculously hard tunes like Spain by Chick Corea and stuff. And I'm just like, I think you need to find someone else for this, man. I don't really know. He's like, no, you're it. You're the only person at the school that could possibly do this. So I was like, all right, I'll give it a try. And then the other guys in the band were Brian Rogers on drums and Andre Filling on keys, who are both musicians that are still around and still playing. Phenomenal. I still play with them to this day. Great guys, phenomenal musicians. And they really made me want to get good. You know, we started getting into it, and I was like, oh, this is actually fun. Like, this is more expansive. And then we formed the group. We called it the Four Guys from Reno for some weird reason. None of us are from Reno.
That's so deceptive, dude.
Oh, it was total. It was subversive, man.
That's like the exact opposite of like when people say they're from the Bay. They're like, I'm from Reno, and it's like that's
what?
like
a step down.
So you're from Sac, but you say you're from Reno.
But we're from Reno. We're trying to get clout, so we're like, we're from Reno.
Just
you know?
say you're from Sac.
And it's funny because I play in a band from Reno now, and that has nothing to do with it.
Right.
Like, I had literally never even been to Reno, I don't think, at this point.
I was beginning to get the idea that you were from Reno.
Yeah, you're like, maybe
No,
there's
I was
some
about to be
connection
like,
here.
wow, yeah.
No, the jelly bread thing came later, just through mutual friends, and they pay me enough that it's like makes sense to go to Reno and Tahoe and all these places. But Four Guys from Reno, and then the sax players stopped playing with us, so there was only 3 of us, but we would still call it the Four Guys from Reno. So the entire name was just a lie. It made no sense.
Damn.
It was great.
That's crazy.
But we'll still do shows to this day. So it's like I still consider that the band's not like broken up.
Right.
It's just like we just gig like once every 5-10 years, you know?
Do y'all
It still exists.
play in Reno?
We actually did we did a jazz festival in Reno in our high school days. Like when they have the competitions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We got ourselves into the Reno Jazz Festival, and they have competitions with different high schools in the region and stuff like that.
Wow,
And
like
it wasn't
the
through the
bands type
school
thing.
at all. We did it separately. McClatchy did not have anything to do with this. I just want to make sure that's known. They didn't co-sign on us or anything. We had to like get the money together, get our parents to like fill out the paperwork or whatever so we could go. But that's when we performed in Reno. That's the only time.
That's crazy. When I think of jazz, I think of Reno. And when I think of Reno, I think of jazz.
It's a big jazz hub.
Yeah.
I mean, think of all the great music
There's
that's
jazz
come out of Reno.
There's jazz everywhere. On the hotel sheets, there's jazz. You put on a UV light, you see nothing but jazz. Go to the pepper mill and just look at the floors.
Oh.
Nothing but jazz
At
everywhere.
the Bunny Ranch,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah,
Everywhere.
yeah.
I mean, it's known for it. It's
Yeah.
known for it. Yep.
I like Reno, or at least I like where I've been in Reno. I've gone to Reno to play gigs, and that's it.
Right, right.
Man,
And now I've been there a lot in the past few years since I joined Jelly Bread. Like, I'm always going, too much, actually. I'm, like, kind of sick of going to
yeah.
I feel it.
It's a gnarly drive in the winter, man.
Yeah, yeah. And one time we got stranded coming back. It was like this storm was coming in, and me and my buddy Sean Leahy, that's in the band. Shout out Sean. I'm gonna do lots of shout outs. He's a phenomenal guitarist that plays in the band, and he lives in Sacramento as well. So we left this gig. It ended kind of early. It was like maybe 9 or 10. And we were like, oh, for sure we're going back. And all these people were like, well, there's a storm coming in. Like, you might not want to do that. You might want to spend the night.
Right.
And we're just like, nah, we're good. We've driven in the snow before. It's no big deal. We get out there. We get to like Truckee. At first, it was just like a little light bit of snow. Oh, this is nothing. We get to Truckee. It starts dumping
Yeah.
crazy hard. Crazy. I'd never been, driving in snow that hard. I was like, I didn't know this existed. Like, next thing you know, we're in this little Subaru, it's like all-wheel drive.
Hey,
so we
at least you got that. Yeah. Right.
So they let us pass the checkpoint. I don't know why. Like, they should have been like, what are you doing? Don't do that. But we next thing you know, we're like, it's like snowing so hard we can't see shit. Like, we can't see anything. Like, and the defroster was not working at all, too.
Fuck.
So I'm like wiping the window for him. I got my window open at one point, and I'm like hanging my head out the window just to make sure that we're not like veering off the side.
Yeah. It's like, you're good. Yeah.
Because it's like, when I don't know if you've ever been when it's like that much of a whiteout, but you can't even tell what lane you're in or anything.
Yeah.
You're just going
There's
like this.
lanes are no longer a thing anymore. Yeah.
And there's trucks that are still going like 60 miles an hour breezing. But I'm like,
Dude.
how are you doing that?
I know. Just the amount of meth that it takes. They're like, I'm going to keep pushing right on through.
They're like, this is nothing.
Yeah.
They don't give a fuck,
God.
bro. They be whipping out there just like, because they
Right,
know it.
right.
They do it all the time.
Yeah.
Get
They-
faded. And like,
Driving aggressively, like they look mad at us for
Yeah.
taking up space on their highway.
Right. They're like, I'm not going to die.
Right. Like, you idiot.
Yeah.
And so eventually we like had to turn back, but it was like one of those points. It was like right by the summit too. So there wasn't an exit for like 2 miles or something, and we're driving like as slow as we possibly can, just like, oh, please get us out of this. We had to turn back and go back to Reno. So that wasn't fun, man.
that's crazy.
Mission failed.
Yeah. So listen when the locals tell you things about the weather. Moral of the
Yeah.
story.
They know
Yeah.
what's up.
Yeah.
There's
They've
a storm.
been there.
Yeah.
They've been. We're just some flatlanders. We don't know shit about shit,
It's Valley kids.
Yeah, exactly. We don't know how to deal with hardcore storms.
Right. I know. We're so used to just nice temperate weather just all the time out here. It's like definitely take that for granted.
Yeah.
Or
I'm not
anytime
built for
there's
it.
like any hint of rain, people just forget how to fucking drive. It's crazy, dude.
Oh yeah, for
That's so
sure.
bad.
For sure.
What's like the craziest gig you've ever played? Like crazy good or crazy bad?
Oh man. Let me think. There's been some crazy ones. I did a whole tour that was house concerts across the entire country. And it was
Nice.
like a 3-week tour, but we did the entire country in 3 weeks. Like
Damn.
we did like a lap all the way up to like Maine.
Whoa, dude.
And as far south as like Arkansas and like Alabama and shit.
Oh wow.
So it was like we ran the gamut. We got the Colorado vibe, the Midwest vibe, the Northeast, south, but that one was just, I don't know if any particular show was the craziest, but I just think of that whole tour as being crazy because it was with this band called the J Band, which is kind of this singer-songwriter dude. And we just had 3 of us in a Chevy Tahoe with all our sound gear and stuff, packed in completely as much as you can pack, every inch of space.
Yeah.
Like, you just have stuff on your lap while we're driving.
Dude.
And the craziest part about it, this is kind of putting myself out there a little bit, but before that, I had gotten a DUI, so I had to have that device on my car that you blow into to start the car.
Yeah.
So when the guy was like, "We're going on this tour," I was like, "Well, if you want me to drive, like, we're gonna have to put that device in the car, because like I can't, I could get in serious trouble or whatever."
Yeah.
So he took the device out of my car and put it in his car. So we had that thing in the car the entire time we were driving around the country, which was great because then we never drank and drive.
That's
we never
good.
drank and drive the entire time.
Not that you would otherwise.
Of course not. I would never do such thing, obviously. But no, I'm trying to do better. But it was like, but we never really had to drive anywhere because the gigs were at the house. And then we would just stay there. They would give us a place to crash and stuff. So it was pretty cool because you just roll into every house. And these were more like family friendly kind of shows. It was like earlier in the evening. The band's more family friendly. So it'd be like a good, it wasn't like a hardcore party vibe or something like that. It was like more of a family vibe, but with lots of alcohol. Everywhere we'd roll in, they'd be like barbecuing. We got every place in the country is like, we got the best pulled pork you've ever had in Kentucky or wherever the hell insert name
I know,
here.
right?
And they got the booze for us, and it's like we don't got to go anywhere. We're chilling,
Dude, shout out to those type of people. The people that let you crash at their spot after a gig on the road or let you do a house show. It's like, those are the people that make music possible. Sometimes,
man. There's a special place in heaven for them.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's patrons of the arts. That's what it is. You know?
Man.
And that's how he built the whole tour, was because he had a following online from being on like Pandora and stuff.
Oh, nice.
So he had all these people that were really into his music that he had never met, and he had never gone on any tour, so he just put the whole thing together by just putting it out there, like who's willing to host a show and can put together this minimum amount of money, which was like a very small amount of money.
Right.
A very small amount of money. This was not a financially very lucrative tour.
Right.
I'm just gonna say that. But it was a
Most of
lot
them
of
aren't.
fun. It was, and I had never been like all across the country like that, so it was like a great experience.
I just want to take a
time.
quick moment. Shout out Sarah O'Brien. Thanks for tuning in, man. This is 4 guys, obviously not from Reno.
Oh, Sarah O'Brien. Yeah, I think that's my friend and former roommate and former employee at my coffee shop.
Shout out.
What's up? Shout out Sarah O'Brien. Thanks for slanging them coffees.
Oh yeah. Here, I'm gonna be right back.
What are like some of the coolest cities you've been to, gigging or otherwise?
Oh man, New Orleans is the top of the list.
Oh man,
New
I feel like
Orleans
we
is the
keep
top
coming
of the
back to
list.
this, like on several
Dude.
episodes, like when we just had Isaac on the other day.
Right.
It's like talking about New Orleans so much, dude.
It's cool because so many people from SAC have moved out there now.
I know.
So there's just like a pipeline of
There's a
musicians.
whole-
like
there's a
anyone
hub,
from
yeah.
SAC can go out there, and you already know people out there. They're gonna help you get gigs and stuff. And there's plenty of gigs.
Yeah.
But if you want a gig, if you want to like make a living gigging, go to New Orleans immediately. But yeah, and New York, that was a really cool experience. On that same tour that I was talking about, somehow I timed it. My other buddy, Anthony Coleman, shout out Anthony Coleman. He's an OG from Sacramento, trumpet player. I've been playing with him for years. So I also
That's
knew him
what,
from high school and stuff.
Isaac was calling him. He's like Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, right.
He was in SAC like a few months ago, and we played a gig with him. Like,
Yeah,
with
yeah.
North Avenue. That was fun.
And he's coming back again in July, I believe.
Nice.
For a month or so. Yeah, so he was in New York at the time. Now he's actually in New Orleans, or I think now he's in Minneapolis, whatever. It doesn't matter. But he was in New York, and that was the first time I went to New York. When I was on that tour with the J Band, somehow I worked it out. Anthony had called me like, hey, I'm doing, because we had done this Fela Kuti tribute band sometimes called Sankofa. You know Fela Kuti, the Afrobeat legend?
Yeah.
Like, I really love that music. And Anthony had put together this band. We performed in SAC a few times. And he just randomly hit me up and he's like, I'm putting together this showcase of all my different bands and we're doing the Afrobeat thing. Can you be in New York in early June or something? And I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna be on this tour. That might actually work. So I like hit up the other guy and I was like, could we possibly be in New York on this date? And somehow he worked it out. So
Nice.
It was like I literally had to do the J Band gig the same day and leave like a half hour early and hop on the subway so I could go over to play at the Fat Cat, which is like a legendary club out there, and play another show with Anthony Coleman, which was dope. But the first night we got there, it was like a true New York experience. Like we had been driving like from an upstate New York gig, and we get into town at like 1 a.m. and we pull up at the Fat Cat. That's where we were going to meet Anthony. And it's like in Manhattan. It was like 1 a.m. and it was just cracking like
Nice.
You know, the whole street. There was just random, so much activity going on. And we jump out and we were getting dropped off there. Like me and the drummer, we were getting dropped off there to hang out with Anthony and then go stay with him. So we had to get all our stuff. So we had like this backpacks with like sleeping bags and all this stuff, just jumping out of the car. And then we just looked like such bumpkins, you know, like we're just hopping out of the car like, hey, what are we doing? And then we like go down into the Fat Cat and it like had this like long skinny staircase and there's people coming up the other way, and I guess I was just walking down with my backpack and it kind of poked out to the side and I just bapped someone. I just hit this girl like full speed ahead. I just bapped her with my backpack and didn't even notice. I just kept walking because my buddy was like, dude, you just like cracked her. I was like, oh, my bad. Like I'm just stumbling into New York like, what the hell's going on, man?
All right.
I'm from Sacramento. I don't know.
I'm walking in.
Yeah, I'm just trying to walk. But then it was like the best. It was like we saw their brass band play, and then it's like in New York it'd be like, okay, the regular music ended at 2. Now we're gonna have a jam session with like top musicians of the planet Earth.
Oh my god.
Till like 4 a.m, you know, just insane level. And this wasn't even like a gig to them. They were just like, oh, we're trying out some new material or whatever. But they had like crazy charts. Every song was in like 13/8 or something, and they're just like reading it, and then they're like soloing. There's like a vibraphone player or something. You know, it's just like, this is insane.
Every time someone brings out the vibraphone, it's like you either know it's about to be the chillest or the least chill experience of your life. It's
right. It's like, okay, insane. Everyone hold my calls. Like, I need to see what's gonna happen here.
Yeah.
They brought a vibraphone.
Dude, that's crazy, man. Like, I don't know. I romanticize cities like that I haven't even been to yet. I'm going to New Orleans next year with the Gold Souls, hopefully. And we're doing like a festival out there.
I went there like when it was like partially on lockdown still, so it was like I didn't get the full experience, you know? But it was still lit. They had to close everything at 1 p.m. at that time, though.
1 p.m.
I mean 1
or 1 a.m.
Okay.
I was gonna say, I was like,
yeah, that's hardcore.
That sounds
curfew.
a little more than partially closed. Yeah. Well, see.
Police
and that's
station.
like, well, that's crazy because it's like, oh man, they gotta close everything so early, 1 a.m. But it's like here in SAC, it's like
that's
10,
like normal.
But yeah, it's like midnight is like the latest for pretty much all of these spots.
Right,
like,
right. They'll do last call, even if they stay open till 2. It's like at 1 they'll be like, all right, get ready to leave.
Yeah.
They're like starting to get you ready. Like,
I know, like
don't be having too much fun.
Yeah.
You got to get home and you got to get up in the morning. You got an early meeting. It's
Yeah.
like, can't we just have fun? Like
Right.
New York is just nonstop, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, because after we saw the jam session, then we went out to breakfast. You know what I mean? At like 5 a.m. We're just
Right.
like, okay, now we got to go to a diner. Like, this is what you do in New York, okay? And then we got up in the morning, and my buddy was already like down at like getting brunch or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like calling me up, like, hey, I'm doing whiskey shots, man. Get
Yeah.
down here. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
There was like 12 of us sleeping in this like tiny apartment living room. Like, it's just humid as shit. Like, it's like a walk up. There's no elevator or nothing. Like in Washington Heights, it was like it was the New York experience.
Right.
You know,
I know. Part of me wants to live that experience of where, especially in a place where there's a big like subway system or, you know, some kind of public transportation where there's some people that are up at 5 a.m. and then they look at other people that are also there at 5 a.m. They're like, hey, you're up early. And then it's just like,
Yeah.
they don't know I'm 16 hours into a fucking acid trip turned into ketamine trip. Like, they don't know.
I'm on a massive bender. They have
Yeah.
no idea. I got
They
these
have
shades
no
on.
idea.
They can't
Yeah.
tell. I got the shades. I'm good.
Yeah. I know.
They know. They
yeah,
know.
no. They're like,
But that's New York though. They're like expecting that, you know? It's
Right.
like
Yeah, it's a trip how New York works. My cousin lives out there, and she was telling me like, yeah, like they just have like they'll start a party at like 4 a.m. out there, like just.
oh
Just
yeah.
do it.
My
Yeah.
God.
Oh man. It just go and that makes me too think of like Jamaica. That was one of the craziest places I've ever been. And that was
nice.
like you want to see some folks partying, man. Oh my God. We would be out because I went with this guy. I went with someone from there, so he was like taking me to like the off the grid, so to speak. You know, and it
Yeah,
was like,
yeah.
but everywhere we went, we'd be like in the middle of a jungle, and he'd find some party that would just be like a festival that would just be going literally till like 7 a.m.
damn.
I mean, just going off, like big sound system. People are out, you know, it just.
Yeah.
No one's coming to shut down the party. I mean, it didn't seem like there was any kind of like noise or I mean, we are in the middle of the jungle, but this
Right.
was everywhere. I mean, in Kingston, in town, like in a small village, in a resort area, no matter where you were at, it was just like it didn't look like I was like, do they have permits for this?
Right.
Definitely not.
Is the health inspector checking on that guy with the barbecue making jerk chicken? I don't know what's going on. But it was like, man, people are living out here. People are alive.
That's dope, man.
You know?
It's awesome. Yeah. Places where there's no noise ordinances at all. Because there's so
Yeah.
many cities where it's like, oh, this is a big music city or whatever. You know, I mean, people say that about New Orleans, obviously, like New York, and then, you know, places like, I don't know, like Austin or whatever, like calls itself like the live music
Right,
capital of the
right.
world. But I heard even over there now, a lot of the places have like a 10 p.m. curfew in a lot of these like downtown spots. And it's like, dude, that sucks.
It's just going to end up like California, man.
It's
That's
like-
what pisses me off about California is that it's like we seem to be we're like supposedly so progressive, yet we're so restrictive
Yeah.
on like regulating everyone's good time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's like I thought that was the bargain. It's like the whole like live and let live like
Right.
that's supposed to be the whole thing. It's like, dude, it's like if you want to fucking go to sleep, don't move into like the upstairs above a fucking music
Shady
venue.
lady.
Stupid,
Yeah,
like,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and just like all these southern towns, you know, they like a lot of them, the downtown areas will just have open container, like you can just walk around with
Yeah.
the beer. It's like it's not
Open
just New
container,
Orleans. It's
open
like,
carry.
Yeah, you can have your
everything.
gun, your beer, but
Yeah.
then they're like, if they catch you with like a dime bag of weed, they're like,
Right.
you're going into a dungeon for about 10 years.
Yeah, for real.
We can't be having that. But yeah, you can walk around with your 6-shooter and your
Yeah,
bottle
right.
of whiskey, like no
Right.
problem, till
Yeah.
5 a.m. We don't care.
See, over here it's inverted because you can walk around with your doobie out, you know, and then it's
Right,
just, you know, it's
exactly.
Like, all right, well, what am I gonna do about that?
But you can't have your beer. It's like, but it was like I was telling my homie the other day. I was like, yeah, is it like I feel like because we're so restricted, we couldn't handle it. You know, it's like if they made Old Sac or
Oh.
somewhere like that, and they were like, okay, within Old Sack, you can carry around a drink or something. It's like the first day, there would just be like a shootout or something.
It would take some time. Yeah, it would take some time to readjust for sure.
Right, people just cannot handle it. There's too much freedom.
Hey, shout out to Regina and Lara in the chat.
Oh,
The
what's
homegirls
up?
Tuning in.
Yeah, that's the wifey.
Oh,
That's
hey,
my wife,
oh.
Laura. She's checking us out, so got to be on my best behavior.
Absolutely. So what's the most debaucherous thing you've ever done in your life?
Pause. Next question.
Good. Deflected. Nice. Like politician style. Good shit.
No, politician style would be like, we all have a deep debauchery down in our souls.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Flip it
it's,
somehow.
you gotta fucking tell
Well,
a story.
I smoked a doobie or two in college.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that was about it.
I never inhaled.
Yeah,
Never
right.
inhaled. I did eat a big handful of shrooms once.
Yeah. Before my time enforcing the war on drugs, I did smoke a doobie or two in college.
And I almost killed myself. I mean, it was,
Man.
Reefer madness is real, you know?
yeah. I did a somersault onto a piano for some reason, and then I wanted to strangle my mother. I don't know. It's what the reefer does.
It's the spirit of
They're
Jerry
often
Lee.
correlated.
The spirit of Jerry Lee Lewis took over you, you know?
I just had to marry my cousin all of a sudden. It was wild.
It was normal back then. It's
Come on,
different.
give the guy a pass. Sure, she was 14.
Yeah, well. Damn. Jerry Lee Lewis.
Dun-dun-dun-dun.
All those like big artists had songs about like getting with like a 16, 17-year-old back in the day, though. You know what I mean? Like they
When
were
they
like,
said little girl, they meant fully adult woman. Is
right,
what they
of
meant.
course.
That
Little
was
girl,
the colloquial term. Yeah.
but she's got her period. Sorry.
Usually confused.
Believe
Too
me.
far. Sorry.
No,
Sorry.
you're good, bro. We said shit way worse.
It's like, yeah, the clock has started. It's fucking.
All right.
Just these is jokes, just so everyone
Just
knows.
kidding.
I'm not condoning this behavior. I'm
It-
saying it's evil. Okay, but
That
we gotta
was the
laugh
thing.
at it.
Marrying cousins was a thing
Oh,
for like the longest time.
big time.
They're like, dude, keep it in the family.
Keep it in the bloodline.
Yeah, come
Keep it in
on, bro.
don't bring
Yeah.
outsiders in. Come on.
That's right. That's why they got to the point of even like naming, like, it's like, no, it's a second cousin. It's like, okay.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Once
like-
you get so many like
cousin,
cousins
yeah,
removed,
right.
you're like, it doesn't count.
Did they actually like? Do they have like a line? Like, isn't it like, okay, first cousin, they might be deformed or something.
Yeah.
The second cousin, you're good to go.
Right. The like.
Is there a
think there's
clear
a line.
line like
There's
that?
like an exponential like drop off.
Degrees of separation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah.
It's
That
a trip
remind-
because like that Game of Thrones show.
I was just gonna say.
Oh yeah.
Like
yeah.
it's like everyone's like.
Oh
it's like, they're all
God!
like, yeah.
Well, yeah, that was like the twins, right? Like the two blonde
Yes.
evil people, like
Cersei and
yeah,
whatever
Cersei
the
and
other dude's name.
the other, Jamie or
Jamie. Yeah.
They were like twins, and they were getting it on.
That's
wild.
That's some grimy shit. And then like the first episode, that kid like saw them, and he just like pushed them out the window.
Yeah, that shit was so hard.
Oh, yeah.
You're just
That's
like,
right.
oh, this show's
Dude,
going off.
I
First
only-
episode.
That's right. I only watched like a few episodes of Game of Thrones, but I remember the first episode. I was like, okay, this is interesting. Dude, I remember I was like trying to get into Game of Thrones, and then everybody was complaining about the ending, and I was like, damn, I don't know if I have the emotional investment that I can put into like watching all like, what is it, like 7, 8 seasons or whatever.
I think it
Oh.
was 7.
Yeah.
It's a ton, and they're long seasons.
yeah.
I mean, it's like
Long
it's like
seasons.
800 hours of TV or something.
It's a lot. Yeah.
That's crazy.
It
That's
is
crazy.
crazy though,
I don't
because
know, I
the
made it
first
to, like,
6
4.
seasons were phenomenal, and then
The
they
first 6 seasons.
Yeah,
the first 6 seasons were great, and then like that 7th and 8th season, they just like I don't know. They
It's a classic situation. Anime sees it all the time where they run out of actual source material and they have to make their own stuff.
Because the
And
book's not done.
Yeah, the
yeah,
books aren't
'cause
done
yeah.
yet.
Right.
Dude, that fool's never gonna finish the books. I don't think he cares anymore. I mean,
yeah.
he made Elden Ring. Elden Ring was fire though. You know, he wrote a lot of the story for that.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
Oh, dude,
the
it's
game?
fucking sick. Yeah, it's a video game, but he did a lot of like all like the pantheon and shit for that game's mythology, and it's
Oh, wow.
like George R. R. Martin
The
actually worked with-
actual
He's like writing
Game
kind
of
of like
Thrones
the
guy.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like writing like the lore and stuff for the game, whatever the
Yeah.
different
Very world.
He's giving them the
stages.
background story on
Yeah.
like, this is what your world is like.
Yeah,
Again, and lots of incest and
there always
fucked
is.
up,
It
bro.
always
It's
goes
fucked
back.
up.
Yeah,
That's just
Man.
his thing, man. He's just
That's a staple, you know.
yeah.
man.
it's shocking and it's provocative. You know what I'm saying?
Well, because there has to be like there's a certain amount of degrees of separation with humans where it's like if there was an apocalyptic event or like a Noah's Ark type of situation,
Yeah.
Hey,
How do you
hey, hey.
rebuild?
you gotta rebuild.
Hey, calm yourself.
You gotta rebuild the fucking world. But it's like, you're just playing the fucking lottery at that point. It's like there's a chance they might not be that inbred,
Here's
but then
the thing.
eventually it might iron itself out.
When God said you gotta get 2 of every animal, He meant 2 of every kind of freak. You feel me? So you got two of every type of freak that's out
You gotta
there.
get the freakiest
Oh,
elephant,
dude.
the freakiest rhinoceros. Like, oh, this rhinoceros has an OnlyFans. She's popping.
Yeah,
Her OnlyFans has hella followers. Let's get her on the shit.
boats and hoes, dude. Oh my god.
Yeah, how do you rebuild the earth from just 2? Like how do
You couldn't do it. You couldn't do it.
That's a
But
lot of
and it's
that's a
creepy
lot of-
too when you think of like evolution of like, you know, when someone was first like, oh, I'm portraying human characteristics, but he's like, but I'm still gonna go have sex with that monkey over there.
right.
Oh, dude, I know. There's like the whole like Neanderthals and those like
Right.
humans had a war with Neanderthals.
Oh, and that must have
it's
been
like,
some scary shit,
dude,
man.
back then-
fighting Neanderthals.
Oh my god.
Bro, well, it's like you think racism's bad now. It's like there's a whole separate species of like
Yeah.
humanoid,
Like
like
ape humans.
yeah.
Like,
I think a lot of people would be like, I don't like that guy's forehead.
oh, they were roasting that forehead, dude.
I don't like that guy's forehead, bro.
They're like,
no,
Oh
no
my
daughter
God.
of mine could date a Neanderthal.
they're like,
Get
I
that
tell
big
you
ass
what.
sloping forehead out of here.
Yeah. We haven't even invented numbers yet, but I tell you what, this guy's got a 5 head.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't like your brow line,
They were
pal.
getting roasted in the schoolyard, man.
Just
I wonder if they
tough, bro.
intermingled or if they were just like over the hill and like those 8 people over there, or if they were like hanging out together and
No, I'm
stuff,
pretty
like
sure
going to
there
the
definitely
club.
was intermingling.
Yeah, well, no, because
No, that's the thing. Again, people got down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
like these days, you know.
They were hitting
I was
that cave club.
curious.
I took anthropology in college, and I'm pretty sure, like, yeah, like some of us got that Neanderthal.
That's
Yeah,
why
that is-
some of us got more unga bunga than others. You know, like
I feel like I got some caveman in me.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh my god.
I could be
Ain't no
wrong, but I'm
shame in
pretty sure.
I know. You could play a caveman on a TV show, dude. You got the
dead ass,
caveman
dude.
beard,
Yeah.
bro.
Like
No, that's
basically when I get out of bed in the morning, like if my hair is not pulled back, full caveman, it's just like
dude.
I know.
just
I'm
picturing the,
growing
like-
my hair back out. I buzzed it, so I'm trying to go caveman unga bunga again. But
nice.
We're
Got
on our
to.
way. We're on
it's
our
the
way.
natural state, man.
Unga Bunga in high school was iconic, bro.
Bro, my shit used to be so long. It's been a minute, bro. It was like down to here, bro. Like my hair used to be like down
Yeah.
to here. Yeah.
Okay, so the Oonga Boonga's got that's the reputation.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was
There's
the
a precedent here.
That's the standard.
it was the standard for a long, long time. Yeah.
the
yeah.
Oonga Boonga's thing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I remember in like middle school, we've fucking known each other for like so fucking long, dude.
Kindergarten.
Okay.
Yeah, like literally elementary school. And I
No,
remember,
literally kindergarten.
Yeah,
is the thing.
yeah.
Yeah,
No,
literally
it's
like
true.
first day of kindergarten. So yeah.
dude.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we go
You guys
way
aren't
back.
sick of each other yet?
Way back. Man, sometimes.
It's like a sibling thing these days.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Fucking no, I remember in like middle school band, like when we had band performances, you would like tie your hair up for once, and I was like, oh shit, who's this motherfucker? It's like,
Right.
This is no longer
Oh.
Eli, this is Antonio.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Antonio.
Antonio.
yeah. The ladies' man, Antonio.
Oh man.
Classic.
Dude.
What school y'all go to?
Oh man, dude. Harriet Eddie, bro.
Harriet Eddie
Middle
was the
school.
middle school.
Yeah.
CO's the high school.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
Uh,
what? Wait, what was the high school?
We lived at Cosumnes Oaks.
Oh, okay.
That's like the
It's
newer
like the,
school.
yeah,
Okay.
the
Yeah.
new
Right, right.
That was like because we started going there. It was like the school had only been around for like 2 years. There
Yeah,
wasn't even a
1
senior
year, 1
class.
year.
Or
I
1
think
year.
we were the first 8th grade class.
Yeah.
Well, we went to Eddie still in 8th grade, you feel me? So
Yeah.
we
Oh,
were there,
right,
you were
right,
there
yeah.
slightly different
Nah,
from
me
you.
and- me and
I went to
Tabo were there
Pinkerton.
first day.
Yeah, me and Bobby went to Pinkerton.
Yeah.
And then, you guys went to Eddie.
So this is out like Elk Grove, like
Yeah,
it's
Elk
Elk Grove,
Grove,
yeah.
The Greasy Grove
This
is
is
what
deep
it's
in
called.
Elk Grove.
I
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
I know.
Suburbs lore,
Yeah.
suburban lore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, it's like if we haven't doxed ourselves yet, I mean, whatever.
It's
okay.
You know where to find these guys.
Yeah,
They're
fucking
in that parking lot doing donuts over
Yeah.
there at that
Oh, yep,
Consumers.
yep,
You
yep.
hear about that?
Yep.
Like there was that place where the movie theater is out there and stuff, like off Consumness.
Yeah,
like
they
yeah.
used to do that.
they
Oh,
made
they
like
had
they
a-
made like this big deal recently. They were like, no sideshows in this particular parking lot. They were like, no more coming in here. It was weird because they were like, I was like, isn't that already illegal? Like, why? But they were like, no, we made a new ordinance so people will stop doing donuts in this parking lot of Consumness whatever shopping
right.
center or something.
Well, it's bad because all the kids out there, they got the Miatas and the CRTs, and they're all just like
they got the
mommy,
rice
daddy,
rockets. They're out there.
mommy, daddy money, and they're just like, they're just gonna
Yeah.
lower it as low as possible, and just
All
like
right,
fucking.
a Miata is not mommy daddy money, bro. Not anymore. Let's be real. That's Craigslist money, bro. Like,
Yeah, one of my buddies in high school had a Miata, and it was
Dude,
it was not,
It's probably like early 2000s. You know
Yeah.
It
what
was
I
a
mean?
dude. It was
But
a,
it's got a spoiler on it.
At
you know?
some point, yeah.
They put the dual
yeah.
exhaust
it
in
was
there.
it was a movement at one point where
Yeah.
like,
It was a
every
flex at one point.
every motherfucker
Yeah.
I knew had a Miata, and I'm just like, bro, it's not that sick.
Yeah, like calm down, buddy.
Yeah,
it's just fun to say. That's all.
they are
Miata.
cool. If in
My-
a certain
one of
in
my
a certain
mom's
aspect.
one of my mom's friends fucking was talking about. He's like, yeah, one night I went on like a rager or whatever with some of my buddies. He's like, I woke up like in the trunk of a Miata, bro, and it was like,
That's a small
what
trunk.
the
Whoa.
fuck? Yeah, and he was like, he popped it open. And he's just like, what the fuck? And it was like he woke up in the trunk of a Miata.
So he was able to open it from
Yeah,
the
he was able to
inside.
open it, and I think it was somebody he knew, but like it was like a friend of a friend's. But they were like, "What the fuck? How'd you get in there?" He's like, "I don't know."
Did he ever get an explanation?
I
for
don't think he
that?
did. No, he
wild,
just
dude.
ended up in a trunk of Miata.
I feel like it's one of those situations you're like, everybody wants to go to Taco Bell, everybody's too drunk, and there's not enough seats.
Oh yeah,
And the one
Yeah.
guy's just like, fuck it, bro.
Just
and they just
fucking
like
drunk.
leave him
Oh,
in
I'm
there.
sure
They
he
forget
got
him
in there
there.
voluntarily.
Yeah.
You know, he was
Yeah.
probably just being drunk and crazy, and he's just like, "I'll get in the trunk. I
Yeah.
don't care.
I don't give a
And they're
fuck.
just like,
And they just
forgot
fucking-
his ass was.
yeah. They forgot he was in the trunk, and he just fell asleep in the trunk. Like,
Yeah, they just got
never
back
got
to
to
the house
Taco
and just
Bell.
walked in. They're like,
We have
all right, let's go
more
and grab-
Taco Bell for
Let's grab
some
another
reason?
beer and pass out.
Yeah,
yeah, right.
that's
Shit.
crazy,
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness.
dude.
So,
how
no, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, how long you been growing the beard, dude?
Oh, I don't know, man. Like, I honestly can't remember.
I got a few.
Say good like 7 years. I don't know.
I just want to say I envy all of you because this is all I can grow.
Yeah,
I don't think I'm ever gonna be able to.
It
grow
ain't gonna
anymore.
fill out.
Yeah.
You got the soul patch, dude. No, that's what. Sometimes you just tell people, it's like, dude, one day it'll connect.
One day it'll-
No, I feel you on that. My brother told me when I was like 19, he's like, bro, you're not going to grow a beard till you're like 27 to 30. And I was like, it turned out to be true because this just like started to be like decently presentable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's getting thicker,
nice.
dude.
Yeah. It
No,
takes
I
time.
mean-
it's coming together.
My shit was like
Slowly.
terrible until like probably like 2 years ago, maybe. Like I like look at like old pictures from like high school, like when I first like started growing facial hair in senior year, and I was like, dude, this is so bad. Whatever.
When people had the little like pube stash back in the day, you know,
Yeah.
and be like hella proud of themselves.
Yeah. You see this? This is the mustache of a pussy getter.
I'm getting all the hoes, and I'm going to get us some beer right now. They ain't gonna card me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just thinking of Pedro from Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh my god.
I'm going to GameStop right now. I'm getting GTA 5, and they're not gonna card me at all.
I'm gonna go get the latest Snoop Dogg CD.
Yeah.
No one's saying shit. Okay,
Laura says it's been longer than 7 years.
longer than 7
longer
years.
than
I don't
7
need.
years,
I'm
yeah.
not good with time. Okay, that's something about me. Some interesting fun fact. Not good with time.
I
all
feel
the
it.
Or
blur.
ages. Like I'll see, even though I have kids, I'm horrible at figuring out how old kids are.
Yeah.
Dude, age is weird because it's like you don't really think about it. You know, once you're an adult, you're not like, all high school, you're like, oh, they're in this grade, they're in this grade.
Yeah, yeah.
Once you're an adult, you don't think about it like that at all. You're just
No,
like, oh,
no.
they're doing a thing, they're around me, they're cool, whatever, we're cool. And
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
there's friends of mine where I'm like, I don't know how the fuck I don't know how old they
Yeah,
are.
I'll be like 10 years off sometimes.
Right.
I'm like, oh, really? Oh,
Man, I
thought
swear
you were 23.
I swear sometimes I'll just go into a gas station and they'll be like, "Oh, what's your age?" If I'm like trying to buy alcohol or something, and I'll hesitate and I'm just like, "Right, I'm 27." Fuck.
Yeah.
Dude,
Like
yeah.
just fully blanking. I don't know. Nobody ever asked me that. So
Right. What's my age again? Yeah.
If they ask you your birthday, you're all on the spot. You're like,
Oh.
if I don't answer fast, they might not believe me.
Why are you guys throwing curveballs at me right now?
You're putting me on the spot, bro. Give me
Yeah.
a second. Like, you want my social security number too?
Yeah,
Jesus. Calm down. But I don't get carded very much anymore.
No, I feel
the beard factor definitely. helps.
yeah, the facial hair.
Right. It's
Bro.
like, come on, man. If I'm in high school right now, like, that'd be a sad state of affairs, man. Or maybe I'd be killing it. I don't know.
Now, what gets me though is like it's one particular liquor store that I've been going to for years, where I know the guy knows my face, and he's always the one to ask me how old I am. I'm like, I don't know why he does it. He just
Yeah.
like puts me on the spot every time. I don't know.
How old are you, champ? Yeah.
You had a birthday
Four.
recently? Mm-hmm. Maybe he's just trying to make conversation.
Yeah, maybe he's just lonely, dude.
Maybe
You ever think about that?
Maybe he's all by himself. Just manages a liquor store.
That's just his icebreaker. How old are you? You should work on your people skills, man. People don't like that as the first question.
Right.
like, just give me the cigarettes, bro.
Yeah. No, how old
None of
are
your
you? is a
goddamn
threat.
business.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm buying cigarettes. Shit, I forgot.
Dude, that's hella funny. Like, my mom used to be a social worker for like it was like teenagers and adults with like Down syndrome and autism and stuff. And like I remember because we would go to like it would be like her like, work events or what it would be like a Christmas party, and it would just be like hella people with Down syndrome just like kicking it, and it was sick. And then but like I remember there was one guy that would just go around and just be like, "How old are you?" Okay. How old are you? It just like would just come
I
up
could
to
totally
every
see
single.
that.
How old are you? He's like, okay, good. Yeah, it's like, tight.
He's got to keep track.
Why
man.
do you need to know? Oh, yeah.
He's like, keep it up.
He's like, what's going on? He's like, are you training to be Chris Hansen or what's going on? Yeah.
What's your favorite color? What's your
He's
favorite
just like,
color?
because I thought I saw you talking to a 16-year-old earlier. I was just making sure. All right.
Dude, safe.
I'm going to keep
Good
bringing
looks,
it up.
Oh my god, dude, Chris Hansen's the goat.
You know who else is the GOAT that we have to give our props to? Jerry Springer.
R.I.P.
Like, R.I.P.
bro.
the GOAT. Like
Jerry.
I had to introduce my 12-year-old daughter to Jerry Springer the other day.
It's iconic, bro. Honestly, like it's before we had social media, we had these insane reality shows where people just aired their drama out for the world.
Right.
And it's like these days we get so much of it, we take it for granted almost, like it was just unfiltered
Yeah, and it's like
ratchetness. Like
it wouldn't even fly today because of just how much content people absorb. I mean, it's when you watch it, it's like the people look just kind of dumb because they're all just Jerry, and it's like they're getting so excited about the dumbest shit. It's like every time it's just a fight or whatever. you know?
Yeah.
It's the same formula. It's basically
It
like
was truly like a very more pure strain of just ratchetness.
it is.
Yeah,
It's like
It had to be there,
yeah, it is. It's like the amoeba of ratchetness, It's like where it all came from.
Protozoic ratchetness.
it's a lot like wrestling too, where it's like
exactly
you're here
like
for the,
wrestling.
You're here for the show. It's like, is it fake? Is it real? I don't care. I'm here for the show.
Yeah,
you
right.
know?
Doesn't
It's like-
matter.
it's the Jerry Springer show. Like,
Yeah.
No, it's dead ass wrestling. That's exactly what I was thinking when I was watching it the other day because I'd never thought of it that way. But that was the first thing that came to mind. Is I was like, this is just the WWF, Because
Pretty much. Yeah.
they'll bring out the first person and she's like, yeah, I've been having sex with my baby daddy's cousin. but then he went around and had sex with my twin sister or something, and like, and then he's asking. It's so funny because the questions he's asking are so leading.
Yeah.
It's like because it's like she doesn't have her story straight.
Right.
She hasn't even remembered her. So he'll
She
be like,
made it up.
and isn't she also your isn't she your cousin, but she's also this and that, and she's like, oh yeah, that too, we work at the beauty salon together or whatever, and then he's like, okay, now we're gonna bring Kim out, and that's the woman that's her enemy or whatever. So Kim comes out and immediately takes her shoes off, because it's about to go down,
chanclas.
and then they just like start going at it's just the same every episode,
Yeah.
and people are cheering, and I'm just like, this is so stupid. Oh my God. This is even dumber than I remembered,
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I remember shortly after the passing of Jerry Springer, R.I.P.
R.I.P.
The fucking there's like this video where this chick was like, why is it always you are not the father test, but there's never any you are not the mother tests? This is sexist. And it's like
only on Jerry Springer.
I just want to say though, the
You
amount
are not the mother.
I knew it. Yeah.
Now that would be a big fucking aha moment.
That's
man.
like some ultimate Houdini shit right there. You're like bullshit. No C-section
sworn I
scars, no
birthed
nothing.
you. Man.
Classic switcheroo.
Bro,
Yeah.
the amount of people though that were confusing Maury Povich and Jerry Springer though was a little upsetting because they are different.
God.
They're very different
That's
things.
sacrilege.
And-
That's blasphemy. You don't do that.
I will say, I think Dr. Phil deserves to be up in that pantheon too because it's a little more sophisticated, but it's the same shit.
No,
Like,
because
Phil's
the
going in.
the
Dr.
fact that
Phil's
people think he's sophisticated, that's where he
No,
really-
yeah, no, he's
that's
the-
where he beat the game. Like,
it's the
that's
same
final boss
shit. It's the
right
same
there.
exact shit. Like 100%. Dr. Phil is not any better. Like we got Catch Me Outside Girl and
Catch
shit.
Me
Like, come on.
Outside.
I know.
How about that?
Like,
So are you trying to say that you're going to beat your mother's ass? Is that what you're saying?
So you're saying
mean-
How could you say that to your mother? Where he's like just trying to do this like righteous indignation thing. Dude, I love
He's
Dr.
just a
Phil.
good old folksy guy, and he's a psychologist or
Yeah.
something. Oh, but remember that show that was like Loveline? Was that before y'all's time, or
with,
like
I haven't seen it, but it was with like
a-
Dr. Drew, right?
Yeah, it was like on the radio.
Yeah.
It was like
Oh,
on
yeah.
on radio.
In
and it was-
Sacramento?
Talking about.
No, it was
was
like
syndicated. It was, like,
Syndicated,
national,
yeah.
yeah.
It was, but it was live, and
know
you could
exactly
call
what you're
in, and
talking
it was Dr. Drew, who's like an actual doctor, and then like Adam Carolla was like the comedian guy,
Yeah.
and it would be like teenagers calling in and being like, I went down on my boyfriend for the first time, and blah 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 blah. I was just like really explicit.
I'm not gonna lie. I think I listened to that in like the 7th grade
Yeah, it was back
because
in
I'm
the
like
day.
Dr. Drew is based.
Yeah,
Dr.
Dr.
Drew's
Drew's still
classic.
he's still rocking. Well, he's doing
Yeah.
he's on Your Mom's House network with like Tom Segura and everybody. Like they do a bunch of stuff together. Dr. Drew rules actually.
He was on what's it called too? Midnight Gospel.
Oh
on, like,
yeah,
the first
right,
episode
right.
of
I forgot
Midnight
about
Gospel.
that,
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, he's
Drew
dope.
Pinsky.
He's dope. And Adam Carolla was just kind of like, I don't know, whatever.
yeah.
He was
man.
just always really excited, like, oh my God, you're having sex? That's amazing. Like, it was
Oh my
kind
God.
of weird.
Yeah, we just talked about Adam Carolla a while back. Remember your brother was like, "You guys are dumb. Adam
Oh my
Carolla's
God.
dead."
I was like, I'm pretty sure he's not. I'm pretty sure I watched a clip from his shit from like a week ago.
He was chill. Your brother was like, "You guys are dumb." Like, he was like, Adam Carolla is not alive.
How would that be a measure of intelligence, though? Like, despite the fact of it, whether it's true, like, how is knowing if Adam Carolla's dead?
Oh, we're all just ganging up on him. We're like, no, bro, you're fucking wrong about it.
not.
He's like, you guys are dumb, bro.
I was like, unless this happened today, I'm pretty sure he's not dead.
That's when your other brother too was like Stormy Davis, like, instead of
yeah,
Stormy
Stormy
Daniels.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Put some respect on the
Yeah.
name,
I was like,
man.
please, she's a queen. Yeah.
She is a goddess.
Fucking amazing.
So I will say though, I wanted to ask you though, because I heard that you used to do podcast stuff too. What was that all about? Like what?
Yeah,
was your show?
we had the Furious George podcast with shout out pew 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 with Darius Upshaw, legendarius. We were doing that pretty much I want to say like end of 2020 through like end of 2021, maybe like a year or so. But we were doing it like every week, doing it live. Like you guys, fuck it, let's do it live.
Because you guys were doing that at the rehearsal studio.
We were. Remedy Review. Remember the Remedy Review?
No, because dude,
well, you're in a band with
Alex,
them.
yeah, and then obviously Darius was like the last guitarist
He was in the band too,
for
yeah.
Gold Souls before me.
Before you took his place, yeah.
The last like main guitarist, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's funny because you guys started that, and then we started doing the ZUDECAST also in SAC rehearsal. Because you.
Oh, really? Did you start it when we were still doing ours, or was
I think
it
so. I think
There's overlap.
Because we
Crossover
started in
there.
like January of 2021. Yeah.
Okay.
So it was
yeah.
like.
I think we were still going at that point. Yeah. I think actually that's kind of when. Yeah. That's kind of when we started. So yeah.
Yeah. No, I remember because you guys were like 4 rooms down from where we did our shit.
Oh, so you weren't doing it in the Remedy Review place?
No,
You were
not
doing-
in the
but in the same building,
in our
your
studio.
room. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it was like
Cool,
because
cool.
the Remedy Review was in like room 103 and we were in like 107 or whatever.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
That's funny. We didn't cross paths. You know.
Yeah. Or because I'm like I always knew of you, or I was like, oh yeah, that's the dude, Sam. But
Right.
it's
Right.
like, yeah.
Yeah. I saw you around for a while before we
yeah.
ever like talked or
Crossed
anything.
paths
you know how
several
it is,
times,
like,
yeah, yeah.
music scene shit.
Exactly.
It's just like, oh yeah, that guy.
It's like I follow you on Instagram. What's up, bro?
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
it's like you don't know me. Oh, you don't know me, but I know you.
Yeah.
You know my avatar, right?
Yeah, right.
No, it's hella funny because like when people they're like, oh yeah, you do that podcast, you and your buddy Robert and your other buddy Adrian. Just 'cause but it's like nobody gets that Adrian Grody is like an Adrian Brody reference.
So I can spell it out, but it's better if I don't, honestly.
Just
so funny.
figure it out. Google it.
Yeah.
But
Do your
yeah,
research.
what kind of stuff did y'all get into on that?
Well, like it started as like a music thing where we were gonna listen to music, and then we would talk and then we would listen to music, and then we found out that like when you're streaming you can't play any music or they'll just like shut off your stream for copyright infringement. So
Yeah,
we're
they're
like, I
real
guess we're just
serious.
gonna talk then. But it was cool because I didn't really. I mean, even though like I'm a musician, like by as a career and stuff, like I don't always like to talk about music. You know what I mean? I do like to talk about music, but really, to me, I wanted to have a podcast so I could just joke around. Really.
Yeah.
That's mainly what we wanted to do because we always talk shit like in the green room at gigs or whatever. We're always like roasting each other, just talking, just laughing, having fun. You know what I mean, with the homies, and like that was the whole. And those are the kind of podcasts I like to listen to. I'm really into comedy. I've always been super into comedy. I like to think I'm funny. Whatever. I don't care if anyone else does, but
Dude, we're all here yucking it up. We
Oh,
all
bro,
think,
you're jumping right in. So
we all
we're
think
like,
we're all
let's
funny
go.
too.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, and it's laughter is just it's all about laughter to me, dude.
Yeah.
I want to die laughing. You know what I mean? Like I don't ever want to take things too seriously.
Yeah.
Like anything. Like I want to take it's a fine line because you don't want to be a complete goofball. You got to handle your responsibilities.
Right.
Yeah.
But to me, I want to laugh at everything, man. I want to laugh every day, all day. I just want to find the humor in everything. It just feels good.
It's the way
You
to
know?
be for sure. Yeah.
for real.
So that was our outlook, and basically, we would just have guests on, just like you guys, just homies from the local community, and just see where it goes.
Shoot the shit.
Dude,
I also
yeah.
did a podcast with Damani Rhodes for his Drum Tracks app. That was a little more short-lived, but we did that recently, and that was just about music. That was just kind of to promote his Drum Tracks app, which is now like becoming wildly successful, mainly because of the podcast. Not at all because that's why he stopped doing it, because I think he was like, I don't need to do this anymore. I'm wildly successful. but he was just building content. So that was also with Darius and with Damani, and the three of us would just talk about different music concepts, like things that gigging musicians go through and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
See, we get into some of that stuff where it's like this podcast was never intended to be a music podcast, but that's just most of the people that we know are musicians in one way or another. Like, like almost every guest is like musician or rapper or like whatever.
Yeah,
and
artist.
Like,
And I mean, that's one of the biggest things that brings the three of us together to begin with.
yeah,
right?
it's all
Like,
just like we all do music in different ways.
that's
yeah.
how you and I became friends was
Yeah,
through,
dude.
through music production. Yeah.
Well, and it's like so many people do music these days, you know? It's
Yeah.
great, you know? You meet not everyone, people are involved in different levels of time they put into it, or
Yeah.
some people it's more of a hobby, whatever, you know, but it's great because you always meet people and they're just like, oh yeah, I play a little bit, you know, or whatever. Like, what
Yeah.
instrument you play, you know? It's just something that brings people together. Like everyone's got some connection with music, even if just as a listener. That's what it's there for. It's like
Yeah.
like a big part of the human experience, you know, like, and community. It's part of just the fabric that holds everything together. That's how I see it.
It's definitely music is physical and metaphysical, bro, at the same time.
Straight up.
Because like I've said this too, because sometimes I'm like, why does this song hit like every time? I'm like, well, because this song is a physical vibration that's happening at certain frequencies that locks my brain into that no
Yeah.
matter what. It's like every time it's gonna throw me into what this song is. Sometimes I might not be into it, but sometimes I am gonna be, and that's why I'm like, why do some songs always fucking hit? It's because it's literally putting your brain into a groove, like on a physical level, and then your emotional response to that is like the metaphysical level, you know?
What's really interesting
Yeah.
about that too is that changes based on geography. Like, excuse me, where you go in the world, particularly, like people's emotional response to music is directly correlated to what they value as a culture emotionally. Like, for instance, in Japan, they value respect a lot, right?
Right.
So that is something that will like come through and be reflective in all sorts of like aspects of their culture. But yeah, people's like specific emotional responses to music is just based on like how they were raised, essentially, which is kind of crazy.
It's funny you say Japan too, and how their culture values a lot of respect, because Japanese punk also is some of the most punk shit there fucking is,
dude.
because it's all
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
motherfucker, you think you fucking know about respect? Fuck you, how about that?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's just like the most punk rock shit there
When they
fucking
rebel
is.
against authority, they really rebel, man.
Yeah, yeah. The Japanese punk scene and like the Japanese skateboard scene too. Like it's crazy. Especially, you know, we're from California, and punk and skateboarding are both big out here, and they're huge out there in a totally just like next level way. And
Yeah.
I don't know, it's cool, man. Music's a trip.
Yeah, and I think like to what you said, it's like certain songs will vibe with you and you'll have an experience with it, and like you said, it's based on like the frequency that you're at or whatever, you know. It's like whatever your vibration is, a certain song will just resonate with you.
Right.
That's what different vibrations do. They either resonate or they don't. And that's, which is also a musical metaphor, obviously, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
because that's all we're doing is playing with frequencies, and when they're harmonious together, it sounds better. We interpret it as being beautiful or being harmonious, and when sounds don't resonate together, you know, we interpret it as being dissonant, which sometimes we want that dissonance. You know, it's like when you
Yeah.
watch a scary movie, it's like I always trip out so much about how much of the feeling in a scary movie is caused by the music.
Oh, sound design is so important in horror movies.
Because you'll have the most benign scene. You'll have like literally just a guy walking into his apartment in the middle of the day, sun shining. You know what I mean? Everything is totally normal, but the music is like, and you're like, don't go in there, man. What? Can't you sense the danger?
Right.
Yeah, man.
And that music, and it's like, if you ever try to mess around and like create like a horror movie thing, it's actually hella easy to do.
Yeah,
Like
well,
if you sit down with a synthesizer or something and you're like, let me make something that sounds like a horror movie. It's like so easy to just play something that sounds scary as fuck.
Yeah.
well, that's why like Jaws is considered one of the best horror movies of all time. It's because of that score where it's like da dun 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 da dun, and you're just like, oh shit, nothing happened. Oh fuck, it's like you almost had me there. Like
Yeah.
it's
To take you to that cliffhanger, and then it's like, oh no, nothing bad's happening yet. Something bad's gonna happen later.
Yeah.
You know?
Have you seen this effect where you could put like a bunch of different metronomes in a room, for example, tick them all at different times, and they will eventually all just
I've heard about
synchronously
that.
line up?
Yeah.
I think that's kind of like what you're talking about, where like harmonious resonance is like kind of always just intended to be the goal, right? So they line up for a reason because they're trying to, synchronize. But like essentially, dissonance is caused, or I should say, dissonance is a result of like bad emotion or like negative intentions, and the universe is like constantly trying to self-correct itself, which is an interesting thing because the entire like Milky Way galaxy supposedly like resonates fundamentally at like a C major triad.
Of course, it's a fucking C major triad.
Yeah.
Man, damn.
Basic.
Right. So I'm like, what the fuck
The
is that?
universe is just playing chopsticks.
I know.
Yeah. Anyway, like a weird way to get to that point, but yeah, I think the universe is constantly just trying to like, course correct and like line itself up, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Become
totally.
harmonious.
No, but I mean, we talk about like music being frequency, so it makes sense because it's like frequencies are like waves, and like that it's in the nature to adjust and try to find a rhythm within the chaos, right? So
Exactly.
Well, even
that's a hard
like
thing to do too.
Even like like you feeling a feeling is like a frequency happening within your own brain. So when you're listening to a song and it's on a similar level, if I'm sad and then I listen to Creep by Radiohead, I'm all like, like,
Yeah, no, there's certain songs like I can always pull up and it might bring a tear to my eye, It's just something about that song. I don't know what it is. It's weird, It's like certain songs just do that. They just cause this, and it's like I can always revisit it and kind of get a taste of that feeling that it gave me. It's like a beautiful feeling. Like when I say a tear in my eye, it's like a tear of beauty. It's like when something just hits you and you're just like, it makes you like have like epiphanies about life and stuff. Like you're like you just. You get it for a second. Things make more sense. And like to your point about like, I feel like that's what humans do is basically like we live in this chaos and we're always just trying to create order out of the chaos. We got our houses. Yeah. We declutter our houses. We make it all feng shui. We mow our lawns.
Yeah.
Like we have our routines and stuff to battle against the chaos in a way because we're coming from the jungle, the stars and stuff. It's just explosions and chaos and just all kinds of madness. But we're just trying to carve out our little piece of harmony, and that's what we're doing with music as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, it's the most difficult thing I've ever tried to do in my life.
Music.
Well,
you can spend a whole lifetime trying to master it.
Well, dude, and especially getting into like different genres of music, getting into jazz and stuff, it's like there's more dissonance there I didn't even know was possible just listening to like pop music and rock stuff for like the longest time until I was like already like 18, 19, 20, and then I started getting into jazz and I was like, oh shit. It's like when you find a new fucking category on the hub, you're like, oh fuck, dude, I can't go back now.
I hope this doesn't awaken anything in me. No, that's how I felt when I was a kid and I listened to a Bedlam and Goliath by Mars Volta. I don't know if you ever heard that, dude.
The Mars
Volta.
Volta.
Mars Volta.
I bought it on iTunes, my little gift card I got for my birthday, and I was all, oh yeah, Mars Volta, because I'd listened to a little bit of Francis the Mute, like the singles from Francis the Mute, and then I fucking smacked on Bedlam and Goliath, and I'm like, oh man, I was like, I was like, I'm not ready for this.
Happening?
I was like, this is like, this is like a black hole, the album, like,
that's like a band that to me is a perfect example of a band that's like on the cutting edge, like they are like pushing the boundaries, and that's what I feel like jazz is. I don't like I don't like the jazz that's become institutionalized and turned into this like this thing that you learn in school or whatever. Just do this, follow this formula or whatever. Like, no, that's not
251s,
jazz, man. That's you do get a lot of great education from going to school. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying you have to realize that you're just learning vocabulary, but you know, that's not where the creativity happens. That's not what these cats that you're studying, you know what I mean? Like they had to do other things to get to that level, which was mainly just playing and being out in the community, you know what I mean? But jazz has always been to me about the cutting edge, how can we take it to the next level? Take everything that's already come before us, absorb that, and then push the art form forward.
Well, another band who did that too, just real quick, I even joked around about this. I was like, man, why is King Crimson the original Mars Volta? Because they were doing like the grand, like European, like symphony kind of vibes with like jazz, and it's like,
dude, that was. I feel like there's a lot of people who that's their path to jazz. Like they didn't really listen to jazz growing up, but they listened to rock, and it's like you start Led Zeppelin, then you're like, okay, Rush, and then you're like, okay, you know, whatever, Pink Floyd, King Crimson, and then you start like going in the shit, and then you're like, oh, fucking Soft Machine, and then you're like, oh shit, Alan Holdsworth, and fucking like all this like gnarly like fusion shit that comes out of it, where it's like you start getting like a thirst for it. Like when I first heard like Return to Forever and all that kind of, I was like, oh my
That's
fucking
a big one.
God, dude. Like that was like the first album where I was like, oh shit. Because like we were talking about with harmonies and frequencies a second ago, when you hear just a simple major triad or whatever, it's a very simple fraction. It's like, I don't know what the math is behind it, but it's like a lot of like, you know, like a perfect fifth or like a major third or a major sixth or whatever.
A fifth is just like half of the frequency or whatever.
An octave is exactly doubled. Yeah. And then you get a major third. It's like a 3/2 or whatever. It's like a simple fraction, but then you start getting into these nasty, like, you know, then you get into the sevenths and the ninths, and then it's like the flat ninths, the sharp ninths, the flat, you know, the sharp 11s, the fucking flat 13s and all that. And you're like, oh shit. Yeah. And it's like, it's crazy how like, if you just play like a root note of a chord and like a flat 9 of a chord at the same time, you're like, this sounds like dog shit. But then you add in those other, like you add in the third and the seventh, and you're like, oh, this is and then you put it in context where it's like, the more out that you go in that 5 chord, the more dissonant that you get with it, the more potential there is for a better resolution that you can get, like with that when it resolves to that nice major. And then sometimes they'll you know, punk you out even on the major chord. They're like, I'm gonna resolve to this nice major 1 chord, and they're like, just kidding, here's a fucking sharp 11
let me
at
throw
the very
in the whole
end,
tone
like
or
the,
whatever.
just like what and then do like weird shit like that. And then like I said, it's like when you find a new category and you're like, oh fuck, I can't go back to regular triads now. I gotta fucking hear all these weird extensions. It's like nothing does it for
like
it anymore.
Jazz harmony and stuff. There's no turning back, man.
Yeah, where it's like, but it's just it's just crazy because, you know, most people who have just a cursory understanding of music, I think a lot of people they resonate more with lyrics than they do with harmony and melody and stuff. Yeah. Because lyrics is what is the most relatable to them as just like a layman who's like not musically inclined or doesn't know they're not educated on the actual like harmony and, you know, dissonance. But that's what I love about jazz is there's so much emotional content built into just the notes themselves, where it's like, this doesn't have any lyrics or whatever. And it's like, but that's what gives it such universal appeal. And that's why there's like jazz festivals in every fucking country that are popping off. And it has such like a universal, like it's like an American genre, but it just spans the rest of the world because anyone can listen to that and like resonate with it even without knowing what's going on. Or like the original writer of a tune might have some idea in their head and they're like, this song is about like some breakup I went through or some shit that like hit me on an emotional level. But then when you listen to it, it like you don't understand what the original creator was feeling in their head the time they wrote it, but you understand like the emotion of it just through notes. It's like what the closest that music gets to being a language.
Man, I think that's really interesting actually, because it's the change of consonants and dissonance over time that really represents what like makes a good song. You know what I mean? Is the contrast and the
you're
push
building
and pull
suspense,
sort of.
and then you're resolving it
exactly
over and over again in different ways, basically.
And I think the songs that make you feel things the most strongly do that in such a effective and succinct way. And if that's not just a metaphor for like what life is supposed to be, then I don't know what the fuck is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because that's how life, I mean, you want there to be some conflict and resolution because otherwise it'd just be boring, you know? I mean, and that's where all great stories come from. And life is really just about stories. Like, and music is our, you know, the song's telling a story. That's why I love great instrumental music, because it's like when you can tell that story without words.
Yeah.
I think there is something pure about that, just letting the music do the talking. So it's not about a specific, like, then this happened, then she went over here, then this happened, but it's more just about it's you're still going on a journey. It's just a journey without words.
Yeah.
I feel like movie composers do that especially well.
Oh yeah, totally. And they're fitting it to what's happening on the screen. So you're, you know, there is a story you're absorbing, and the music's supporting that. But it's like when you listen to great jazz, it's like cinematic music without the movie, basically.
Right,
you know?
right.
Well,
or
too,
classical music.
I mean,
you know?
something too like New World Symphony. You know, Anton Dvorak is you know, such a just absolute banger that's been used in every anime ever.
Oh, I don't know if I've heard that.
It's like da 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 da.
Oh,
da,
yeah,
da,
yeah.
da, 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 da. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I've definitely heard that.
Mac Dre jacked the beat from Anton Dvorak. Bro. Yeah, don't get me started on that, bro.
with I Need an 8.
Mag
And I feed my bitch.
Both
yeah.
the songs, kind of. Kind of jacking.
It's not my job.
Yeah, man, it's crazy, like how universal music can be. Where it's like, damn, like someone could listen to two different people could listen to the same song, and they're like, damn. One person will think about one life experience, and then another person will think about a totally different life experience, but they're both evoked from that same song, even though it's crazy how it just will connect like that.
It's kind of weird. Some songs are pretty ambiguous, you know, where it's like supposed to be a love song or something, but it's just vague enough to where you're like, this could be about a family member or something that like passed
Totally.
away or something.
I like
You
it
know?
when it's a little more ambiguous. Like that.
Yeah.
You know, those are some of my favorite songs where they're not explicitly saying everything that happened. So yeah, it can be, you can relate it to your breakup. You can relate it to maybe a friend that died or something, but it might hit you in a different way and make you think of something that happened to you. But the language is a little more using metaphors and stuff like that. So it's not just like, you know, I'm at the club dropping dollars or whatever. Where it's just like, okay, this is painting a very clear story of what happened.
Right.
He went to the strip club.
Right. Where it's like
The bands were popping.
Yeah, the bands were popping, the booties were popping. You're painting a picture here, but there's not a lot of room for imagination in that scene.
right. The more room you can leave, where it's like, I don't know, even where it's like when bands are, it's crazy with like you were talking about Rage Against the Machine for the longest time. It's like they'll leave the lyrics like sort of ambiguous, but not that ambiguous. But there's still like the vast majority of people who will listen to a song that has like a political message or some kind of moral message or whatever. They'll listen to the song but not really like fully absorb in what it's about. But it's like they still don't go out and say like, they're like, this song is about capitalism or whatever. It's like you have to be like kind of subtle with it. But
Well, my favorite example of that is fucking Foster the People, Pumped Up Kicks, because I was like, like, this is like a edgy punk song disguised as a pop song, and I was like, and so many of y'all were too dumb to notice.
They
like,
had no idea what they were talking about.
Are you fucking stupid?
Like shooting up a school.
I was like, it's in the hook. Like, it's not hidden. Like, it's just the instrumental's not. It's just like.
But that shit was catchy as hell.
It's
it really does. Like, it's just a metaphor, right?
It's like almost a reggae song, like fucking like I don't know how they didn't get it.
He's got that ethereal indie pop vocal, just like, oh yeah, I'm singing about shooting up a school. Real subtly.
It took me a while to realize that too.
Like,
No, it's like, I don't think anyone got it right off the bat. You know?
It's crazy
It's
crazy what you can get away with lyrically if the music is just
totally. Plus, that's like a radical statement, and I dig that. You know, I like music that's edgy. You know, it's like Rage Against the Machine. You know, fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. It's like, when that shit came out, that went so hard, and to this day, I mean, you know, and Bomb Track, like the first song on their album, like. You know, go back and listen to it. It's like the first song. I love listening to like the first song a band released.
Yeah.
And it's like bomb track. That came in so hard. It starts off with that doom 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 doom, and then it just goes doom 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 doom. Oh, doom 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 doom, and they like change the tempo a little bit. They like slow down a little bit when it kicks in. Like,
dude, like
the no metronome gang.
Yeah.
I always joked
It's
around
next
too.
level.
I'm like, bro, my rapping style, I'm just the dollar store De La Rocha, and it's like, all that shit is a big influence too. Because again, like, I mean, it's like, I don't know if he's Mexican or whatever, but like De La Rocha is definitely, he's Hispanic, and it's like,
he's Mexican. I think he's like mixed, like,
right? And it's like all my cousins, because I grew my hair out long, they're like, bro, you looking like Zach De La Rocha these days, and I'm all like, who? And I'm like, oh, from Rage Against the Machine. I'm like, oh, yeah, I need to live up to that. Like, I was like, that's a compliment, like, cause like,
he's a legend, but he never like releases anything. It's kind of.
Well, I love that. I love that the most De La Rocha we've gotten, like ever since like One Day as a Lion or whatever, is that one band or whatever.
Yeah.
That he was in for a bit.
For like a month or whatever.
Yeah. It was like one EP or whatever. But the most De La Rocha we've gotten has been as like a pseudo third member of Run the Jewels.
Right.
And I'm like, that's right where
I'm here for it.
That's right where he belongs, bro.
Totally,
it's like Killer Mike, LP, and De La Rocha. Like, he should be a permanent
member.
member.
That's a big nod to those guys that's the only group he'll do any music with, including his own. I mean, Rage Against the Machine they're still coming back and doing tours, but they haven't released any new music since that cover album they did in like the early 2000s.
What, Renegades?
Yeah.
I still love Renegades of Funk. That's one of my favorite songs by them.
Yeah,
even though it's not like, I like that more than the original.
Well, and people talk shit about that album, but I think there's some gems on there, man. There's some cool songs.
It's a love letter, to
their remake of Maggie's Farm is dope, man. The Bob Dylan tune.
Right. Well, and then there's like Minor Threat songs. There's like
they did like punk songs,
MC5,
old school hip hop,
Cypress
like
Hill,
Pistol Grip Pump,
Pistol Grip Pump.
How I Could Just Kill a Man. That shit's hard.
Like, both of those versions are fucking classic. Or fucking I'm Housing.
I'm Housing goes off.
Their
dude.
version is fucking filthy. It's totally different. Like,
because it's got those rage grooves.
Wow,
and like
wow.
I recently listened to like the whole first Audio Slave album again. That album,
Audio Slave's killer,
fucking ridiculously good, man.
Yeah,
I appreciate it now more than when I first heard it, because I think at first I kind of got bored of it and I was just like, I want like the old school Rage, but like looking back on it, I'm like, that album is like, those guys actually got to do things they probably never could have done with Zach,
Yeah, well, with Chris Cornell as the vocalist too, like, again, like just the storytelling through like where he's like, I met a man who's locked away for things he hasn't done. Like, he has like a whole different, like, it's very similar, but it's different, and Cornell's a legend in his own right. R.I.P. to him too.
Yeah.
Bro, it's just, we're just down to like Eddie Vedder when it comes to the fucking grunge fools,
dude,
bro.
The
That's
grunge,
it.
Yeah, the grunge. And Eddie Vedder is also, I mean, give the man his flowers before he's gone, because he's also a phenomenal vocalist, man.
Yeah, man.
I mean, still get off on all that old 90s grunge shit, dude. It's great.
Yeah.
Dude, I know, like a few months ago when the Even Flow meme started popping off everywhere with the Jesus on the skateboard.
That was bad. That was bad around
I
here.
don't know any of the words to those songs, but I know all the melodies, dude, all day.
Here in the concrete.
I can never remember if it's like Stone Temple Pilots or Pearl Jam, man. It doesn't matter. Conversations
on the weekend, on the way, yeah. And the coal mine head and the head and the hand and the whole hand. It just sounds like an Adam Sandler bit after a second.
It sounds like they're making fun of themselves.
Yeah. Mumble rap was not the original.
Right, it was mumble
Pearl Jam,
grunge.
H-mob grunge.
Yeah. Shit,
bro,
dude.
up at the skate park too, bro, someone fucking spray painted on the quarter pipe where everybody does the fat like transfer into the half pipe. They spray painted Even Flow onto it.
Nice, yeah.
It's crazy because people are like, They're like, why are they mumbling so much? It's like, dude, they're all on heroin. It's like, you know who else was on heroin? Fucking like Charlie Parker.
He was playing bebop lines on heroin, and y'all can't even
Fucking-
like enunciate a word.
I know. John Coltrane's on fucking heroin. He's like, playing
the most complex
like, what the fuck? Like, oh, it's like, yeah. And then Eddie Vedder's like, oh, no, need hair. Y'all were getting some different shit. Yeah.
Hey, that's Seattle rain, bro.
The old, it's like the old.
Depressing as hell out there, man.
Well, it's like the same thing with weed, where like the old heads are like, man, that weed today is not the same as what we had. Yeah, I bet the heroin maybe just wasn't as strong back then. Like they really started getting it down.
they had the pure shit back
Yeah.
in the day, though, especially with like cocaine. It's
It
like,
was
bro,
wild back then for
you
sure.
could not get cocaine
Bro,
now like you could in the 70s.
I would
like,
have
at
loved
all.
to try one of the old school cocaine Coca-Colas, bro.
Oh,
I would love
hell
to try
yeah,
that,
bro. That
Those
sounds
probably
great.
schmacked,
I'd be hitting
bro.
the corner market every day as a kid if
Bro,
they had that shit.
motherfuckers were probably like, "Wow, what a drink!"
Bro, I bet some collector out there has got them.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I
I know.
personally know like a super obsessed Coca-Cola collector, so I'm just curious.
Yeah, yeah.
Dude,
You're
it's
like,
got
how
the Coke
deep
stash
does
in the
it
bag.
in the vaults? Like, how?
I mean, fucking bro, with
What you
all the
got?
different like bull nut you got in Red Bulls and shit these days, bro. Like Red
nut.
Bull's basically legal Adderall, so it's like we're not far off. Like these
Right,
days.
right.
But Red Bull's not even close to Adderall, dude. That's the
Yeah.
thing. Well, it's like we're sitting out here drinking all these yerba mates and shit, and all these people. It's like, of course, Coca-Cola's
yeah,
like,
speed,
dude, what are you
like-
talking about?
They're like,
They
"You
were
lost a
popping-
finger? Get on back in there,
Yeah.
son. Here's something to cool your
yeah,
nerves."
exactly.
I can't feel a thing.
They just like dip your finger in bourbon. Like, just hold it there for 10 minutes and then get your ass back up on that building.
Yeah.
down the rest, and
Yeah, yes. Drink the rest. He's like, no, I lost my finger, bro. He's like, yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Let me rub Coke on that. Take a couple bennies. You'll be fine.
Yeah. I know. It's just like a long day of building a skyscraper on cocaine and like a can of sardines.
Right. On just one of those like steel beams with no
Yeah.
no ropes or supports or anything.
Well, bro,
That's some
we're talking
butthole
about the
puckering
origin of screwdrivers, and because allegedly they would mix the vodka and the OJ and the screwdriver, and we're all
like,
like,
with a screwdriver?
yeah, that's the story.
Oh,
That's how the
okay.
story
Right.
goes.
'Cause it was like construction dudes.
yeah,
man.
and
They're
they're-
screwdrivers.
these guys were all like, well, doesn't that make it taste bad? And I'm like, it's really about the drinking on the job. Like,
yeah, you're missing the point here.
it's really
Yeah.
more about the drinking first thing in the
Dude.
morning. Like,
Yeah.
Drinking on the 20th floor of a skyscraper, and you're like, there's no way. Dude, I tell you what, we haven't even invented jets yet, but there's no way that fucking jet fuel could melt these steel beams right here that we
Right.
got. This is good American steel. They're building
like,
the World
wow,
Trade Center.
it's gonna melt this steel right here. Wow, I could fly a plane right into it, and it would not
Nothing would
melt this.
Gee willikers. This American steel is something else, Danny.
Dude, our turn of the century bits we have planned is gonna be.
You realize it's the roaring 20s right now. Like,
I know.
we
I
should
know,
all
we
be
are-
at speakeasies. Like,
I know. Fucking, let's get it all in now. Have as much fun as we can because we know what happened in the 30s and the 40s.
Here
bro.
comes the
You know?
Depression, man.
Yeah.
And then World War III. Shit.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
Insane in the Ukraine.
Hear me out. All right.
All right.
I'm glad. I'll go.
Go on.
I'm just looking at you. He's having a good time. Oh, dude. Glad you're here, by the way. We appreciate you, man, bro. You're fucking top. Shout out to Taba fucking coming through, running the boards, bro. He knows what's up.
On the
Getting-
ones and twos.
Getting better each and every time, bro. Shout out.
Hold
bro.
on, before we get into this next segment, I'm gonna finally crack open
Oh,
this twisted
shit.
tea.
All right. Hey, why don't you pull? You still got that article from earlier or no?
Oh, the UFO one?
Yeah,
Let me
pull
get
up the
this- let me
UFO
get
article,
this shot
bro.
of this
Oh,
beautiful
hold up.
twisted
Yeah.
tea.
Here, give me a second.
Oh, yeah,
Alright,
it's,
hold on.
I'm gonna
if
grab
I'm
a beer again too, because I'm an alcoholic.
Nice sponsored.
I got you right here.
Oh, thank you.
Nice
Wow.
sponsored beer crack.
Right, got to get that product placement in there.
Yeah, twisted tea. If
Hold
you're
on, let me go find the
All
UFO
right.
if you're looking
article
for
again.
people to sponsor,
All right, boys.
I've never had it before, so I just wanted
Hey.
to try it. I just saw it in that video where they cracked the dude in the face with the twisted tea.
All right.
I know.
and it
Hey, shout out to
exploded.
Device Brewing Company.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. Device as well. Are they local?
They're Sacramento, man.
Yeah, shout
know.
out to Device. They should
That's-
sponsor this podcast.
That's my dream, dude, is to get sponsored by a local beer company.
Bro, fucking remember Trevor was like hella trying to get Alien. He's like, hey, Alien Labs, y'all should sponsor the ZUDECAST. And I was like, yo, you should. But yeah, man.
here it is.
World War III. How do you feel about World War III? You think it's happening soon, or you think it were chilling?
Man, I don't know. It's kind of crazy because, like, I never would have thought they were really doing boots on the ground anymore. Like, I was kind of shocked by the whole Ukraine thing because I was like, we're still doing this? Really? I thought it was just cyber war and drones now. Like, what?
Right.
Like,
Well,
what conceivable benefit is there to have dudes, like, marching into space?
I hate to say it. Russia and Ukraine are both broke. So
Are they just trying to thin the herd? That's
They-
what I started wondering. Is this like a population control thing? You know, like
Well,
I could
it's
see Russia
always
literally being like, "We got too many people. Get your ass over there and die for your country." You know, like
Dude,
it's not the
maybe.
craziest thought, but
Maybe.
because I mean they weren't doing too hot just in general, and I could definitely see them being just at a point where they're like, we gotta do something. You know, they're like, we gotta do something. So like, hey, we've been looking at fucking this old school East fucking Europe shit ever since the USSR fell. You know, so it's like might as well just do something. You know,
build up some national pride of like, you know what's crazy? I thought it was hella funny the other day. They were like, Ukraine did a terrorist attack on us, or they were like they sent a drone into our country and it was a terrorist attack. It's like, how is that terrorism when you're invading their country,
Right.
and you don't consider that terrorism? But they made it like a big deal that Ukraine attacked them on their own soil. I'm like, what are you doing to them?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
How
That
is
was,
that?
was my thing. I was like, what do you expect? That was like, and like, I feel like, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's like the whole element where it's like, should we be involved? Were we involved? Did we give them the drone to do that or whatever? But it's all
Right.
like,
We've been involved.
we've been involved, A, but B, it's like, that's war, dog. It's like,
Why are they even denying it? Why aren't they just like, yeah, I sent some drones in. You
stand up.
invaded our country.
Yeah.
Gotta stand on it. You know?
yeah, exactly. It's a
But
trip.
they probably are trying to be covert too. Like, no,
Yeah.
that wasn't us.
Don't give them any more reasons.
yeah.
Right.
Well, dude,
Don't make them mad. They're already invading your country. It's like, what?
it's
I mean,
wild because it's so documented. Even still, you know, there's so many just like videos, like live streams and like actual like videos on people's phones and shit. And it's like,
Yeah.
there was one where it's like this fucking drone like dropped a bomb on a dude. He grabs it, throws it over, scuttles up to like a next spot. The drone drops it again, and he fucking throws it over, gets rid of it again, scuttles up to a different. It just keeps following him, and it's like, what the fuck is going on with this Looney Tunes ass war? Like, bro, like,
I know. It's really.
And then he like threw like a black dot underneath the soldier, and he fell down. Into
yeah,
it.
exactly.
It's
Like-
crazy.
no, they're not ready to bust out the secret weapons, bro. The tune physics, bro.
Yeah.
Oh
They've
my
been
God, that's what
keeping
they're
that-
hiding from us. That's what
Yeah.
the Pentagon's
They've been
hiding.
Yeah.
keeping that under wraps, man.
Yeah,
That's that top secret project.
They
I
got
know.
the fucking tune the dots, and then they got the dip like on Roger Rabbit, you know, so they can get fucking handle anybody with cartoon powers.
Right.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah, that's the next time we overthrow a dictator, we just put like a cartoon, the hole under them, and they just put up a sign that says "Yikes."
right. Of
Whatever. They're
course.
like, "Gulp."
No, you just invite him in the Oval Office and hit him
Yeah.
with that trap door. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
right.
You come in like you're gonna surrender. Like I'm about to hand you the keys to the castle, man. You won. And then as soon as they get in there, you just hit that button underneath your desk. And you're
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like, oh, I didn't see that coming. That's why he told me to stand on the red rug.
Yeah. We're gonna take your picture, dude. It's just getting so crazy where. With this whole UFO thing that's going around, it's like, dude, it just seems like every other couple months there's a fucking UFO thing. And it used to be like the government was always like, there's no aliens. Shut up. And then I'm like, shut your mouth. You're wrong. There's aliens. I know it. Stop hiding the truth from me. And now they're like, guys, there's been a whistleblower. There's aliens. Oh my God, we have alien vehicles. I'm like, shut up. What are you trying to distract me from now?
Right,
Oh,
right.
you're trying to bring up this alien bullshit you're fucking lying about to distract us from the real problems.
Well,
I'm
my
like,
thing too is I'm like, actually, if you know your schizo lore, then you know there weren't no aliens. There was alien blueprints, and there was only fucking people. Basically, it's just top secret technology, though. You know what I mean? It's not aliens. There was never any
Right,
aliens. It's that they were making wild shit, whether it be, it's so next level that we think it's alien or whatever.
We're
but it's
talking
like
the secret space program right now.
lightweight, on some shit like that. But it's like, basically, again, it's just like there's been technology that's been next level for, way back.
I saw this one documentary, and I've seen lots of alien documentaries. I'm going to tell you that right now. Pretty much anyone that I can find, I'm down. So I get them confused. I'm like, wait, which one was that one from? But there was this one where this guy was basically saying that he was part of the misinformation campaign where people would be seeing stuff that were going down on top secret military bases, and they were seeing new technology that they weren't supposed to see. So he would start to get them to believe that it was aliens when it was actually the government. And he was like a CIA dude or something. So the government was paying him to get people to believe in the aliens to distract them. But now he did say at one point in the movie, he was like, when I did start this job, they did take me in a room and they debriefed me on all the alien technology they had found. And I was like, wait, hold on, dude. Like, what? You're just going to slip that
just
in?
Just going to glaze over that?
Yeah, he was basically saying, yeah, I was paid to distract people, but they also told me about all the actual UFOs that they found as well.
Wait,
and he didn't get into that. He just kind of said that and then left that hanging there.
So they're like multi-stage psyoping people. They're like, all right, we have the secret technology. One of the things I've always thought is like, if you need to hide something, hide it in plain sight. So they're like convincing people, gaslighting them into thinking it's aliens. And then you also have the Project Blue Book people that are going around like, no, it's not aliens. Just keep it under wraps. Like, I'm like, so which the fuck is it?
Right.
Like,
and with this guy, I'm wondering, well, you just told me you've been spending your whole life being paid to lie about saying that their government's covering up aliens, and then you're just going to drop in there that the government has found aliens. So I'm like, wait, are you lying to me now?
So
I can't believe anything you're telling me.
Right, I know.
You're just
like,
telling me you're a liar. So
I know.
everything you're saying means nothing.
Yeah.
Full of shit.
So
I wore the
CIA,
shirt.
always CIA.
I wore the
Right.
shirt because I knew it was gonna come up, bro. The
Foo
fucking
Files.
the Foo's Gone Wild, bro. The
I know.
Foo Files, bro. The Foo Files shirt, bro.
Well, it's just it's just crazy how far we've gotten to the point where everything in the world is so insane that when there's UFO stuff, we're like,
who fucking cares anymore? Because it's like, I think again, my thing is it's just like AI or just like social media or iPhones. It's like they have had technology under wrap for days that they're gonna slow drizzle out to everybody. They're trying to do it with this stuff because watch, in 5-6 years they're gonna be like, hey, we have a multi-directional speed of sound fucking device that can fly around and do surveillance faster than we can comprehend, and it's just gonna be a UFO, like and they're gonna roll it out like it's normal technology, even though it's been around and speculated on for a long time.
Well, and that dude Bob Lazar was saying that they were trying to reverse engineer the UFO, and like it didn't. He was like, it's gonna take us like 100 years just to figure out how to build this fucking thing,
right?
Because it was like so far beyond our technology, and they were using elements that we didn't even have. So it was like, oh, we have to figure out how to, harvest this element or whatever. And like, it's like gravity propulsion. Like, it's like, I just was watching this Joe Rogan podcast, actually. Of course they were talking about it, but it was like pretty interesting because it was like, the guy was like, well, people say that, the aliens would have to come from so far away, so that's their argument that they wouldn't be here. But he's like, but with this gravity propulsion technology, that like theoretically we can kind of see how it works, like we can kind of understand it. We just can't actually make it, but it applies to our laws of physics, and we can theoretically see how basically it just makes it the distance doesn't matter anymore when you have technology.
It's
like
basically
that.
teleking, like the way they imagine it. It's that. It's just
it's hyperdrive. You know what I mean?
Warp hole through. It's like cheat. It's like glitching out on a video game, like no clipping through like video game assets. So that's basically what they imagine it is. It's like, hey, all the physical matter, fuck that. Like,
did Einstein invent no clipping, bro?
Einstein did invent no clipping.
Dude,
pretty
the
much.
Rosenberg. I think it's the Rosenberg something or other, just like the technical name for what a wormhole is. Like,
Yeah,
something.
I don't know, man.
A Rosenberg's butthole.
Rosenberg sphincter.
Rosenberg's prolapse.
Well, so with this article though, if we want to like pretend to even fact check or whatever, the quote that I keep seeing in like these different articles was in an interview with the debrief journalist, blah blah blah. They previously exposed the existence of a secret Pentagon program that investigated UFOs, and the U.S. government and defense contractors had been recovering fragments of non-human craft and in some cases entire craft for decades. And they quote, "We're not talking about prosaic origins or identities. The material includes intact and partially intact vehicles." So they're saying that they found actual like alien vehicles or like extraterrestrial vehicles or, and then
I believe it. I don't know.
I want to believe it.
I want to believe. Like Mulder.
Yeah,
Mulder head ass.
I personally believe it for sure.
I mean, I think X-Files itself was on some soft disclosure shit, where it's like the whole first season of X-Files has a whole plot line about pilots piloting experimental craft. And that's been known to be like documented. I'd have to cite it. Don't quote me on that right now. You can quote me on it later.
The TR-3B or some shit.
There's
like
some
the
shit where
triangle craft.
Yeah. There's experimental craft that they literally were putting pilots in there, and the pilots were like, "Oh shit, this thing's dangerous, and I'm all fucked up from trying to fly it." Like, and they were like, "You better shut the fuck up about the thing you were trying to fly, or we're gonna fucking unalive you."
Doing too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of the UFO sightings are by pilots that are like test pilots or people in the Air Force and the Army, and they're not people that are prone to believe in wild shit. They're disciplined kind of people, and they see and they know how aircraft work. So they see something while they're flying, and they're like, "That is not flying like anything flies." And I've seen everything that flies, and I've flown everything that flies, so I would know. And so they just come down and they're like, "Yeah, I saw some wild shit that made no sense."
Yeah.
And it's like it's hard to discount. It's like these people aren't like making a bunch of money off of this or anything,
Right.
Like,
I feel like everyone has a story like that at this point where it's just like, yeah, like you just look up in the sky
I've
day
seen some
on a really
shit up
clear
there that
night
didn't
and
make
you
sense.
just see something flying across the sky and that just takes a hard 90-degree turn and you're like,
yeah.
Yep.
what the hell is that?
We saw some shit like that in Fort Bragg.
Yeah, when we were just when we were hanging out,
Just
like
hanging out, and we're just
Oh
like, "Yup."
man, you hit the whole north coast of California, basically from the central coast up. If you want to see some aliens, bro, go out, do a massive amount of shrooms, and go to a beach at night by yourself.
Well,
And tell me you don't see a few alien craft.
if they like,
I'm gonna
can
be
go
doing that.
underwater.
People are gonna say I'm
know?
hallucinating. Like, trust me.
Like post up underwater, it's like nobody's gonna find you down there. They might find you in
Right.
the skies because we're constantly like searching around. But like if you go to like the bottom of the fucking ocean, it's like a good place to hide. I don't know,
Dude, that's one place that we do not know what's going on is
Yeah.
at the bottom of the ocean, and it's
My
most
God,
of the
truth.
earth is
Bro,
that.
were we just talking
we were
about
just talking about
we were
this
just talking about
yesterday
some shit, bro.
because we were
the
talking about fucking
abominations.
it's whatever, it's dumb, but like
That was earlier today, actually.
was it today or was it
It was
yesterday?
today.
Oh yeah,
Well,
yeah.
where it's about like Noah's Ark or whatever, and because when they took all the animals onto the ark, it was just all land animals. He wasn't bringing fucking fish onto the boat, right? And so
Maybe he has some aquariums up
Well,
on
'cause,
there,
like,
man.
I guess
don't know
that's,
if they
like-
specified.
whole
because some
planet.
people say it was
Inbred
there's
ass
like
rhinoceros.
Again, we talked about this earlier on the podcast too.
so like
Beyond just the inbred animals, there's other things to dig for here. You
Right.
know, in the Noah's Ark.
But I guess like part of the idea of like why there was the big flood is that I guess there's like these angels or like Nephilim or whatever the fuck you want to call them that were like doing all sorts of weird shit on the planet, creating like what we would consider to be like genetic hybrids and abomination
the hybrids
and stuff.
like between the like sky people and the humans or
Right.
whatever. You know, yeah.
And those are considered abominations or whatever. And so what like when Noah took all this stuff onto the ark, it was all just land animals, and then just like, I mean, was there even that many people? I don't know, but it was all just land
It
animals.
was just him and his family.
His
I
family.
do believe.
Right.
Like
had
his
like
kids,
keep in mind
his
of-
kids' wives.
Yeah,
Keep in
so
mind-
how did
keep in mind
he?
a
How
fam-
did he restart the human race?
I know.
Keep in mind again,
Yeah.
a
He had to
family
get busy, dude.
A family back then was fat though. Keep in
That's
mind, they're
true.
like, listen up, motherfucker. I'm gonna have 10 kids. My kids are gonna have 10 kids, and then
Right.
each.
They was planting them seeds, man.
And then
Hey, we
yeah.
just talked about
man.
second
Yeah.
cousins and exponential drop-offs, right?
Yeah.
Right,
They-
right.
Yeah.
Maybe
I mean,
he was making some exponential drop-offs in the right, like the rhinoceros. He's just like,
Oh my god.
damn.
They're
That's like,
like, Noah, we just
like,
talked about this.
that's like a
They're like,
reverse
we got
Ace
rid of the
Ventura.
They're
abominations.
like, we just had a whole fucking flood, my man.
He's like, well, it's like, if I could create an abomination, why would you let me do that? Why would that work?
And then meanwhile, it's like
that must be how God planned it, man.
Yeah.
He put me here with all these beautiful creatures.
That's
And then meanwhile, it's like Zeus and Gilgamesh, and they're like, "Ooh, I'm by myself. I need to make do."
but anyways, the point of the Noah's Ark thing is that all of the undersea
Zeus
creatures,
came through to the party. No. Yeah, where were the sea creatures?
the sea creatures were left alone during the flood.
Oh, yeah,
they were
'cause it's a
thriving
flood,
and surviving.
obviously, yeah.
That's why you see so many weird fucking creatures under the sea that are abominations, and that's why like whatever in like the Old Testament, it's like, oh, you can't eat any like fish that doesn't have fins or gills or whatever, like
Bottom feeders.
like any type of
Bottom feeders.
like you can't eat like shellfish
yeah,
and
yeah.
crustacean
Unclean
and
foods.
stuff. Like it's
Yeah.
not kosher or whatever.
Yeah.
See, I think that's more along a similar lines of like why you don't eat like pig, because it's like
Yeah.
they're rolling around
Because they're
in their
bottom
swills.
feeders. That's
Bro,
the
they're
thought
roll-
process.
Well, they'll
Right.
eat anything. So like pigs will literally eat like their own shit. You know?
But were they
Right.
on the ark
Right.
though?
But you know what? So will chickens. Like,
True.
True.
I raise chickens, and like you literally just throw anything out there, and they eat it. And it's even chicken. It's like leftover chicken. Just throw it out there, and they just.
oh yeah, big
love
cannibals. They love that.
So
Eat
it's
that
like,
protein,
but I
getting
mean,
gains.
most people aren't feeding chickens. I mean, they're feeding them chicken food. Most of the
Right,
time.
right.
The chicken that you're buying at the
Seeds
store.
and grains and stuff. Yeah.
I've definitely fed chicken to a chicken and then just let out a super evil laugh.
Oh my god!
That's great. Fuck yeah.
Ha, ha, ha. Yeah, it's like you're just running your own little twisted universe over
Nice,
here,
dude.
man.
How many chickens do you have?
At the height, I think the most we've had, we got up there to like maybe 12 or 14.
Nice.
At the most. Our last flock got like one by one picked off by this possum.
Dang.
They kept getting killed, and like it was brutal. But then eventually, now we have like baby chickens and some ducks and stuff. We're kind of starting over. Got a new coop. I got a possum trap.
Nice.
I miss
Bro,
raising
we
chickens.
had a
I've been saying we should get chickens here, man. There's
man.
like
Are you
like
allowed?
There's a limitation for backyard chickens, I think, in suburban areas.
'Cause I'd be
Something
down.
Like 5 chickens.
As long as the neighbors don't complain, you'll be
Yeah.
good no matter what. I
Yeah.
think in the city limits, there's more
God.
rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as you don't have a fucking rooster.
Yeah, no-
exactly. You got to make sure
Bro,
they're
oh my
female.
God.
Remember our homegirl Coco was like, "There's a rooster that's going off in my backyard, and I want to find him and kill him." And I'm like, "Damn, girl, chill."
Dude. Well, at the last house that me and Bobby lived at, fucking, there was a rooster for like the first couple months that we lived there that was just like every day at like 5 a.m. would just fucking go off, dude. So shout out to the rooster. I think
I
they
can't
killed
seem
his
to
ass
escape
eventually.
them, dude. The fucking house I grew up in, we raised like 30 chickens out on this ranch, and there was about a 1.5 foot gap under the whole foundation of the house. It was like raised up, so they'd be going off at 5 a.m, like underneath my bedroom, like under the floor. You can't even get
Yeah.
under there to like chase them out
Oh
or
my
anything.
God.
Like you just got to deal with it.
They're there under the floorboards.
Yeah, even the females can get kind of loud when they're
Yeah.
laying eggs and stuff. They'll be out there like, get a little annoying,
Yeah.
Well, that's
But
what you
it's
got to
rewarding.
do. That's what you got to do in these crazy times, though, is have chickens.
It's good. I mean, honestly, it's like I see it as like a backup plan. It's like keep a little food and water stocked
Yeah.
up. My wife is good about this kind of stuff. She's all about the apocalyptic shit.
Hell yeah, dude.
Like
We're getting closer.
Having the chickens, because it's like, you're gonna have some food, No matter, it is a really easy, like, self-sustainable food. That's why I can
Dude.
see why humans have been doing this for thousands of years, because
Yeah.
they're really low maintenance and they lay eggs like every day. So it's like, you're gonna have some protein.
Dude, and they're like
know?
they're like good eggs too, with like the
Yeah.
yolks like super orange and like thick.
Oh
too, where
yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
dude,
way
that's-
better than
that's
that
a
store
dog.
bought stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
fuck
can
it.
taste the difference when they're fresh.
That's what I mean, dude. That's our ultimate goal with like this podcast, and just start, like Joe Rogan, just build a big ass complex. Eventually, gonna have the Zude Ranch instead of the Dude Ranch. Fucking-
I feel you, and then you start a cult,
Yes.
and get
Yep.
Yes, dude. You already know.
become the great
it's like,
leaders.
It's like we said Comfort Eagle by Cake is like one of our theme songs, because it's like, we are building a religion, we're making a brand. But
dude, that's the one. Yeah, it's a quick step from brand to religion. It's like
100%.
1 minute you just love us because we got some cool content. Next minute, I'm the second coming of Jesus.
I
Yeah,
think,
dude,
I
Part
think,
of the
I think-
Judeo-Christian
and
religion.
I think
you have to
Bobby-
let me have relations with all of your wives.
I think Bobby's gonna be the face of the cult.
You got more of a cult leader look going on of the
You go.
bunch.
Dude, especially when you put on the aviators that you have, I'm like, dude, this is full cult leader.
The
Which
aviators
I
and
gotta
the
snag
and,
those
and the
back.
the preacher outfit, like on Halloween. Remember, you had the preacher outfit.
I am very serious usually.
Dude, I would believe it, bro. I believe it.
All right, shit.
That's
Hey,
another
boys.
thing. Like, in addition to aliens, I'm very into studying various cults.
Oh shit,
You know?
Dude,
Yeah.
we gotta have you
Big
come
fan.
back on for a when we do a deep dive episode, dude, because
Dude,
we're diving into all that type of
Dude,
stuff.
big time. We're going into MK Ultra. We're gonna do Jonestown. We're gonna do Heaven's
Oh,
Gate.
I
We're
love
gonna
it.
do a fucking Manson family. We're gonna do CIA and
I
cross
know
Manson family.
like too much about all those things you just said. That's the
Oh
problem.
yeah,
It's
dude,
like-
absolutely. You're welcome on
Fuck
back,
yeah.
bro. We're just hitting
Fuck yeah.
about 2 hours
Yeah,
right now
dude.
too. So
Oh, it flew by.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
dude,
Breeze
for real.
right by.
as an introductory episode, boy, you came on absolutely didn't
Oh,
knew what
thank you,
knew
man.
what was
I
up, bro. You
appreciate
crushed
it,
bro.
guys.
You came
Empty
in.
can cheers.
Empty can
Real
cheers.
fun.
Oh!
Hey, I'm going on full right here, man.
Oh,
this
that's
twisted
a
cheese.
chunker. Oh, yeah.
This might take me a while.
The gift that keeps on giving there.
You got any plugs or shows you want to
Oh
shout
yeah,
out?
I did want to say because this weekend is on Saturday. I'm doing a show from 5 to 8 at Sackyard Brewing Company,
How?
Backyard.
and it's a new project called Some Kind of Chaos. It's basically me and 3 other really phenomenal musicians, and it's like 90% improv. Like, we don't even have songs.
Fuck
we're
yeah.
just gonna go in.
Fuck yeah.
And then we're bringing up a rapper for, some of the stuff just to like keep things grounded.
Yeah,
Have
yeah.
a rapper for a few songs.
yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Fuck yeah, dude.
So it's gonna be lit. Come through. Free show.
Yeah,
Excellent,
buddy.
dude.
Fuck yeah.
Love Sackyard.
Hell yeah, man. Well, that's been ZUDECAST número 81. Bam, 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 bam.
We'll catch y'all next week.
Peace out.
We got Josh Joran coming on next week. Josh Joran, ho! Hey!
Tune in.